Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Dylan Must, and I with me I didn't read this beforehand, but I want to fly away. Travis Snell, how's it going?
Oh, it's going good. It's a good night. I'm excited for the Sidequest still, Must. It's gonna be a good time.
Lights are flashing, eggnog, which has like a green hue to it, which I don't love that for you, but
It's regular eggnog. It's regular.
No, that's not regular.
That's not right.
No, that's something else.
Eggnog.
That's like some Luke Skywalker eggnog, which maybe we'll talk about
Better
some Star Wars stuff
check
later.
the chicken.
Yeah, we've got the Mila of Milas. Taylor Field, what's up, my friend?
Oh, I'm here, ready.
Okay, yeah, you sure are. Tonight is the night, of course, where we are talking about the Game Awards that just happened, just finished about 20 minutes ago. We've watched all the trailers, we've seen all the winners, we've seen the antics and the guest speakers and all that fun stuff, and we're going to break it all down. And Travis, is that light going to be flashing the entire time?
Just for my
would you
opening.
say,
Just
or
for my opening. Just for my
Okay,
opening.
okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, for Taylor's sake, I was wondering, because I know
Yeah,
he's sensitive to flashing lights.
Of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Game Awards just happened. I think I want to start by talking about the categories a little bit, and then we can circle back and talk about the various announcements, of which there was plenty. But maybe I'll just get a quick temperature check before we even do that. Starting with you, Taylor, who I don't think you were really watching the show, right? You're just kind of watching some trailers and maybe tune in when you could?
Keeping tabs, yeah.
Okay, so I don't know. Do you have an overall opinion then, or are you not so much?
I peruse through, and obviously our ChatGPT predictions at these presentations are way far off.
A couple were
but
close, though.
there's
Oh,
a
you
couple.
would be
Yeah, I
surprised.
saw a
There's
Diablo
few.
one, too.
I was
The
worried for some sand in people's eyes.
the Divinity one, people are like
Yeah.
floating in the ceiling and like hanging, and I'm thinking, man, this is getting pretty close. I mean, like, once they start, maybe killing some people in the audience, then I think we're getting pretty close to what ChatGPT is predicting. But it just, I will say, it just seems like it's a pretty good consistency for here's a couple awards and then here's a bunch of trailers and just kind of keeping the flow going, a very healthy flow. So I think that's all you could ask for when it comes to an award show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, most award shows don't even have announcements, so that's even more than you can ask for most award shows. Travis, how about you? What do you think?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like we never know what we're getting with a Keeley show, right? We've seen highs of highs, and we've seen lows and lows, and a bit in the middle. And I feel this is for people that have not listened to a Sidequest or Geekverse ever, but I've been in this chair, or multiple chairs, but been in multiple chairs talking about scores. I'm not going to tell you my score for these conferences and everything like that. And I say that I've been there before when you watch something anywhere from like a 3.5, a 4, to even a 4.5 where a good presentation, but not really any games for me, not any announcements for me. Yeah, but this one, it's on the whole other spectrum where this one was curated and made for your boy Dilmas. Knights of the Old Republic, pod racing, Lego Batman. In between Lego Batman was Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Throw up the ones, everybody in there, if you're listening right now. Leon Kennedy was back. James Bond with Lenny fucking Kravitz. And to top it all off, the Muppets were here. Muppets got a song number. I had a delightful time. Do I think it was a perfect show? No, I can still separate that. But it's one of those conferences where I see people like, oh, I'm jealous when you're at a conference that everything works for you. I'd say 95% of the things work for me here.
Hell yeah.
I think there is some pacing things. I think they kind of fumbled the last 25 minutes of the show. And I think with the awards, it's interesting once we talk about the winners, but I think it was a tough year because when you get that game or project that's going to sweep stuff, it kind of makes the awards a little anticlimactic. So I wonder if that's why they went overboard on the announcements or the trailers this go around, because it's just like, well, it's just going to be kind of ho-hum, right? And yeah, there was another point I had about the awards, but that's what I was going to say also, and this is always debate every year, but I definitely feel like this was one of those years if you want to argue between what do they value more importance, the awards or the announcements. This year felt heavy on we're going to just show you lots of announcements, lots of trailers. So I personally don't mind that. I get that's how they get the hype going, but it felt like the awards this year were very much in the rear view mirror. It felt very much more this is about games and what's coming next. But overall, this show was great. This was a Travis show, 100%. So
Okay, yeah, that's very exciting to hear. Yeah, interesting you mentioned that. Like, to me, I feel like the awards were highlighted like as much as they have been the last couple years. Like I feel like maybe about 2 years ago was when Keeley really found his formula and he's really stuck to it in terms of like, here's your chunk of ads, here's your like spam 3 awards, here's your more like prestige award, bring a guest out. And I don't know, to me this felt very by the books and nothing really surprised me, and there's nothing really that went wrong, which is good. It's always nice to see that happen. At the start of the show, the audio was desynced, but that was for like a minute, and it was like in the pre-show, which is like fine. So that's kind of the point when you're expected to like screw some things up a little bit. But then they kind of recovered pretty quickly, and then it seemed like there wasn't really any other issues. And yeah, I was watching the show live for like the first half, and then I wasn't for a bit. And so I could spam through a bunch of the ad blocks, and then I kind of caught up by the end. Travis, right at like the 20 minutes you're talking about, where it kind of slowed down, and there was like not a lot of great stuff in there. So that was unfortunate timing on my end there. But overall, this is a really fun show. Like, just it seemed like there was, other than those last like 20 minutes, it was like really well spread out of like keeping the exciting stuff coming. So it felt like you couldn't really turn the show off for very long, which is good, I think, for Jeff and the viewership and all that. As per usual, everyone's always, chatting in our Discord server when the stuff is going live, which always a fun time, but definitely if you're not in the Discord server, join it, because that was a super fun one tonight, talking with everyone about everything there. And yeah, overall, I really enjoyed the show as well. I think there's a lot of fun announcements in here. I mean, the awards, it would be nice if maybe some of them were highlighted more. I've been saying that for a few years, and I just kind of get what the show is at this point, and it works, and it's got its formula, and I just kind of expect that at this point. So overall I was quite happy with this. Of course, you can always be greedy and ask for more, but I think there was a lot of fun surprises here, and more than even myself, I think there's just so many things in here that seem to get, especially in the Discord, a lot of people like really excited, or even just Travis, you having like a top tier show full of stuff for you, like that's I love that for you. I'm so happy to see that, and it's crazy already knowing that next year was already going to be a huge, massive, monolithic year for games, and now there's even a few more things we can chuck in the pile, along with just getting new trailers for some of those games we already knew about. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one to break down. But yeah, let's start with the awards. And I will say, I was kind of tracking this as they were happening on the live stream, putting the tracker up or down to see how we did versus our predictions. It was just the three of us. Obviously, Kirkland didn't join for that. Early on, I had the first 6. I nailed them, and you guys missed a couple, and I was like, oh, I'm fucking sweeping this. You guys stand. No chance whatsoever. And then I was dead in the water for a while, and Taylor's like one-off picks where me and Travis picked something different, and just Taylor picked this one. He got like 3 in a row, and I was like, oh, no, Taylor's got the comeback here. And then it kind of rounded out, and then obviously Claire Obscure, we all like picked that, and then it won a bunch of things, and it kind of balanced out near the end. At the end of the day, Travis, you came in 3rd place with 15 correct predictions.
Damn.
I think the downfall for you is you didn't have any of your individual ones, like when we all predict a different game. None of those panned out for you. So that's like the time when you get ahead in a competition like this.
You hate to see it.
Yeah. Taylor, unfortunately, you got to bow down because you got 2nd place with 16 awards, 16 correct guesses, so 1 more than Travis, and 1 less than me. I had 17, so it was a very, very close
Just a couple
competition
games.
this year. Yeah.
Dang. Oh, I'd rather lose by a lot, so damn. Sucks, but congrats on the W there. That's good.
Good job.
Dang.
Yeah. So, let me go through this a little bit. So for the things that we all 3 guessed the exact same, there was quite a few there was like 10 votes. So pretty much it was really just like 5, 6, or 7 votes different because we had so many things of the same. Expedition, which we all predicted, won narrative, indie, debut indie, RPG, direction, and game of the year. So we all predicted all those, and they all happened. Action adventure, we all predicted Silksong, that one there. Family, we all predicted Bonanza, that one there. Adaptation, we all predicted Last of Us, that one there. Sports racing, Mario Kart, all one there. And anticipated GTA, we all won there. So those were like, we were all tied on all 10 of those from overall. Jumping ahead, a couple Expedition 33s that Taylor didn't vote for were art and score and music, and those both obviously went to them. So me and Travis got a couple points there. Taylor, here were some of your snipes. Audio design, Battlefield. Battlefield took that one.
I told you. It's the gun effects, man.
You had it. You also sniped, and I think I kind of convinced Travis out of this one, so that was maybe a difference maker. But you had Jennifer English for performance. Me and Travis ended up going for Troy Baker.
Jenny.
So yeah, you
I
got your
did
Jennifer
have.
English
I
point.
thought I got right. So
You
even when she
did.
You
won-
changed it last minute, yeah.
Even when she won, I was like, "Oh, point for me! Damn it!" Yeah. Go with your gut, people. Go with your gut.
Taylor, you also had the Games of Impact correct with South of Midnight. Me and Travis were off on that. It's a nice job. And then best ongoing, No Man's Sky. You
Oh, I
also
saw
had.
that one. Yes.
Whereas me and Travis went a different direction. And then for me, the solo ones I had was Innovation and Accessibility with Doom, which I felt pretty good about that one because that one was like, I was really tossing that genre around. And then right before we did the predictions, I was like, oh yeah, it's got to be Doom because of like the way you can like slow the game down and all this stuff. I also had Uma Musume for mobile and VR AR with Midnight Walk. So those ones really put me ahead of you guys a little bit.
Damn.
You guys were both correct with Arc Raiders, whereas I went Split Fiction. So nice job there, Taylor, with your child there of Arc Raiders. And then Action, Taylor, you went for Battlefield again, unfortunately, but me and Travis got it correct with Hades 2.
You
Yeah.
always go with the Game Award nominee, Taylor. Always.
That does seem to be a rule. And then there was 3 categories: fighting, Fatal Fury won that. None of us guessed that. Sim Strategy went to Final Fantasy Tactics. We all guessed Civ 7, so we were off there. And then Community Support went to Baldur's Gate 3, and none of us guessed that either. So it was 3 categories that we were just blanked on. But overall, I think we all did pretty good.
Yeah, no, I'd have to look. I feel like that's the year also we don't have Kirkland, but that has to be the year that we're like 1, 2, and 3 are the closest. I know
think
we
so.
probably had like 1 and 2 close, but the fact that all 3 of us were just within 2, so yeah, no.
And like
those
for
are
last place to
impressive.
get 15 correct is like really freaking good.
Yeah.
Like that's like almost half of them or whatever.
Again,
so.
I guess the Claire thing kind of made it a little easier too, though, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like that was a default for me,
Yep.
and Mike made a good point. If GTA does come out next year, that's gonna be a default pick for me. But yeah, I don't know, just go GTA, because
Yeah.
people been waiting. So
Yeah, so I mean, nothing. Like obviously, I got some of these wrong, so there were things that surprised me in that sense. But overall, when we're watching it, Expedition 33 took all the big ones pretty much. Again, like indie, narrative, RPG direction, and GOTY, and art and music. Like that's crazy. That just shows how that game just doesn't and performance doesn't have like a missing category. It's firing on all cylinders. So shout outs to that game. I really liked all the. Every time it won and they were on stage, which I think was 3 separate times that they were on stage to accept an award, they had someone different come up. I like Jennifer English's speech when she went to performance. I thought that one was really nice. The Game of the Year one, the narrative one, like all those were nice to see. But yeah, in the awards part of it, any surprises for you guys or any what you wanted to bring up there, or any speeches that you thought were good or anything like that?
no, I think all Claire's speeches, like I think you're like they don't know they're gonna win, but I think that's kind of the good thing when you might have an idea you're gonna win a lot, so you can have these people give different speeches. I think they give them a good amount of time. There was a couple times I really appreciated they started to play the music, and I can't remember who it was, but that woman before on the awards wanted to say something, and they stopped the music and let her say something, which I appreciate because it's not like I understand when you're doing the Oscars or Emmys when you're in a select time slot where it's like, well, you got to be off air by this point because of regulations, right? Where it's like you're streaming across the world. Like you could really, and this was actually more efficient because I looked last year. Well, I guess no, I think this one ended like right at 8, a couple minutes over because the concert, but this was shorter than last year. I don't know about the year before, so it felt like this was a bit more concise. Even the ads felt a little less than that, but that's where I do appreciate where if someone's going to speak, have your time limit, but let them go a little bit. So it didn't feel like anyone was cut off. I think there was one. Yeah, I think English had a good speech. There wasn't any other speeches that like gave me like a big because I love award shows for that where you can be inspired and take something from it. I think all the speeches were just kind of good. So that's one thing I'd say. And awards, yeah, nothing too surprising here. So I almost hope that GTA gets delayed next year to the early because I do. There's 2 minds I have, right? Where it is super impressive when something comes and sweeps and just takes it all. That is a big, like you said, done attribution how great that game is. But at the same time, as a viewer, it's just almost rinse and repeat, and it's just okay. It's just Claire. It's like okay, that's fun. But I do like when there's some variety in there, and I wish you get a little bit of that. But at the same time, that's okay. Sometimes a game just comes out and takes it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. Yeah, Mike brings up the Claire Obscure music number opening was peak. It was funny to me how like obviously this game won so many awards, and I love that they had just like the same little sound cue that plays when it wins the award, which is obviously just like the main theme of the game. But I feel like they could have varied that up a little bit. Like there's so much great music in that game. Just every time to have that voice coming in, woohoo, like dude, just like popping off a little bit was a little comical to get that over and over again.
I will say it was a great performance, but the only thing I would kind of push back on like a show booking point of view is it's weird to have that opening performance and then later on you're going to get music from the game again. I almost wish there was a way to incorporate that, because it almost just feels like they're showing their hand of like, hey, this game is fucking awesome, and it's opening the show, and then you're going to get the music again later. So it kind of felt, as much as I liked it, a tad redundant. Or maybe say, hey, because Claire got that opening, it's not going to be in the composer montage, but just a little nitpick. So
yeah, I think notably Death Stranding didn't win anything, because even like, you know, Silk Song took action adventure, you know, good for them. Hades took action. Bonanza took family. So I'm just looking at like all the things that were in Game of the Year. They at least took something else. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I guess, didn't take one either. Ghost of Yotai didn't grab anything. But yeah, Death Stranding, I was, my big prediction there was the audio design. I thought maybe it would take that one, but yeah, it was nowhere to be found, unfortunately.
And Kojima didn't do anything either. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He was there. They showed him in the crowd, so I thought, oh, later on he's announcing something, whatever. I thought it was a shooting to get even like a minor update on OD, and literally nothing. Crazy.
And didn't he have like some crazy quote about OD this week that like,
yeah,
he was like, this game's not working, it's going to get canceled or something
Oh,
stupid.
did he? I didn't see that.
I don't know. I saw like a crazy quote from him talking about OD, but maybe I did. It was definitely me reading the headline, pulling a Taylor, not the article. So I don't know what the full thing was there.
I'll have to look into that, yeah.
Okay. There you go. Those were the awards. Oh yeah, I was gonna say too, the player's choice, which I'm pretty sure is they give that to whatever, because obviously for the game of the year and all of these votes, right? It's the jury plus 10% vote from the fans. I think the player's choice, maybe it's just a random vote, but I guess it's, I guess just all the fans can pick one game. I don't know where you do that, because when I was doing my voting for my awards on the website, I didn't see the player's choice thing. But Wuthering Waves won that one, which is funny because that game had like multiple ad reads throughout the show, which is just, you know, from the Genshin team or whatever, and it's just like it's a niche pocket in a sense, but it's also just fucking huge, and there's just so many people who love those kinds of games. But I feel like in my circles, it's kind of completely silent. I don't hear anything about that, so that was interesting.
To follow up on what you said earlier about Kojima, the quote was, "The horror game is so experimental that it may not work out." That was the
okay. So maybe I was reading that. I was like, does he mean he's going to cancel this?
So maybe he means from like a critical point of view that's going to come out, and maybe he's in the middle
he's
of like
prefacing bad reviews. Okay.
Yeah. This game's not great. Let's just say it didn't work out. You know. So
yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's jump into the show, and we're going to go with the order that is preordained. By the way, I wrote them in my notes, and of course, as usual, not going to mention every single game in here because that would be crazy. But I want to start off with this, actually. So Keeley, when he finally comes up on stage, because it starts with, I think her name's Sydney Goodman, right? And she's does like the pre-show, and then she does some awards and stuff later on. She always does a good job with that. And then hands off the reins to Keeley when the official show starts, the pre-show ends. And I really liked his message at the beginning. I mean, it was very touching. Jeff Keighley's a guy that gets a lot of shit online and from us and from me as well, admittedly, sometimes.
Don't
Sorry,
put me
not
in
you,
there.
Travis,
No.
But yeah, he had a very touching message and shared that he lost his home in the LA wildfires last year, and he lost his father earlier this year, and it was just a crazy year for him, a really sad year. And, just shout-outs to Keeley, because he is, of course, a human, and he puts a shit ton of work into this show, and obviously people always have their criticisms, and it can never be perfect and please everyone, I don't think, but I feel like he does a really great job, and I thought this, was a very well-done show overall. So shout-outs to Keeley, always crushing it with, like, a new suit look. I will say, though, did we need 3 separate Miss Piggy moments? I feel like one. You get your one.
Yeah.
The fact that she came out 3 separate times... No,
So
that's where I
listen,
draw the line.
I'm a huge Muppet fan. It's funny, we watched Muppets Christmas Carol last week. This is when Logan, she revealed to me, she's like, I don't want to watch it. I'm like, why? You like Muppets and everything? So we start watching it. She at first was like striking, not going to watch it. And then she started to watch it. So, I thought you didn't like the Muppets. She's like, well, actually, I just don't like Miss Piggy. And I go,
Oh,
what?
that is
Yeah.
my guy right there.
And
Yes.
I'm like, why? It's just her voice. She's just annoying. So it's so funny when she popped up and she kept popping up. So I will say, because I'm always every year, you can go back to every time the video game awards happen. I'm here defending the Muppets. They are culture icons. They deserve a spot. So I support Jeff Keighley here. I enjoyed it all, but even myself as a Muppet apologist, it was too much. Especially when they did the music number, I was like, oh, if you don't like the Muppets, I'm all cool with that. I was like, okay, cool. And I would give me time. I'm like sitting here, I'm getting some more eggnog. But I'd be like, man, if you don't like the Muppets, this must be just dreadful. Because it went on for a good amount too. It was just like a 15, 30-second joke spot.
Yeah.
And so I will agree where even as myself love the Muppets, I think that was a bit too overboard, and I do get from just from a different time. But I can fully admit that the Muppets are not hip anymore. They're not they're not in the zeitgeist like when they're talking like, oh, we're gonna do a Miss Piggy movie with Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence. It's like I love those ladies, but I think that movie will bomb. Like, so I don't think people love the Muppets. So I will agree with you. As much as I love them, it was one too many steps, and the crowd wasn't really digging it either. So it just kind of felt a little awkward, and especially too that song came in the back half of the show. So I think back half is where the twisting of the ankles kind of happened.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Okay, moving on to some more announcements. So, the first couple things, the Free Shepherd was a game where you play as a border collie and you're shepherding around a bunch of sheep and stuff, which I actually thought looked like a really cute game. And then there was one called not Decrepid, but Decrepit, because I guess you start in like this prison and you have to break out. Weird looking horror game. I really like the look of this one though. That one went on my Steam wish list like immediately. We saw some more Pragmata, which is a game that I feel like keeps getting delayed and keeps getting announced, and then we just don't know what's going on. But they actually came out today, showed some more gameplay, which I don't know if I've really seen before, and then announced that there's a demo out today. So I feel like that's a pretty good sign for its 2026 release date, and finally get something substantial, something people can play. So that's pretty cool. I'll probably download that and check it out, see what's going on there, but looked pretty cool. And then I think the first one that really blew the roof off was maybe Bradley the Badger. Travis, do you want to explain this one? Because I think you seemed pretty into it.
yeah, so obviously that's what I was gonna say. Where I caught those games that you mentioned, I did not remember because I caught like just the last 10 minutes of the pre-show. Got that, and I also want to say before. Maybe you'll bring this up a couple times, but just in case I forget, I will say that I think this is the best year they've done with the stage production. They did a lot of cool things with visuals and smoke and effects.
Yeah.
They do that a little bit, but I feel like every year it's like one time they do it. This time there's about 3 different set pieces. We're like, okay, cool. That's where all these millions of dollars are going. But yeah, I'm in the mood. I've said before, Astro's on the list, much like you guys grew up with platformers. So I've been in the mood to try and get back in those. And I feel like we're hopefully in a mini renaissance. Like we'll talk about the game that's announced at the end of the award show. We got that. I feel like it started not the, but I feel like Ukulele is the first time I remember we're on the podcast where it was on a big game award show because it felt like for 5+ years platforms were never on these type of shows. You would never see anything like that, or people just weren't making them. So I think it was that not only was he the Badger, but it was his weapons. Like at one point he pulls out some sort of handgun. Now it still looked like comical, kitty a bit in a little bit, but no, this is a game that I will at some point wishlist once I get my Steam because planning on the Steam machine next year. So I'm excited now that I get a little less bummed now when I see these. But this looked like lots of fun. Looked like remind me of that game that I don't think's that game that you were a peanut and you'd run around and shoot things. Remember that a couple years ago?
Wasn't it a
like-
potato? Hot
No,
hot
he looks
potato
like
or
a
something like that?
potato. No, he looks like a potato.
You think
but I
about
hate-
Killer Bean?
Killer Bean? Yeah, is that game out?
Don't think it's out yet.
Yeah, okay. So just I like platformers or weird things like that have that almost childlike kitty aesthetic, but then there's just something off and weird going on. So this is one that if it reviews poorly, no, I won't be there, but I'll be keeping my eye on Bradley. So
Yeah, I guess to describe it a bit more, it started out as like legally distinct ripoffs of different games where it started out with Badgerborn and it had a very,
right,
Bloodborne
yes.
look to it, and then it had, I forget what they called it, but it was like a Last of Us ripoff, and then it has Cyberpunk ripoff, and then it goes into real life, and then it's a character interacting with Evan Peters, which is revealed that like Evan Peters is now the voice of Bradley the Badger, and then the gameplay, I guess that's where I'm at with this. Like I don't know, I wonder how much of this is a trippy narrative, crazy journey meta, like very meta as well, which not a lot of games do, and how much of it is like actually like a really fun platformer, and I hope it can do both of those things because if so, it seems like it could be really unique. But it was a really fun trailer, really weird. Uh, I feel like so many games just aren't funny. Like humor in games is hard to
Yes.
do right, but this one did get some good chuckles going on, so I like that. Evan Peters, cool. That's a fun casting for this. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought this was a really weird looking game. Definitely another one going on the wish list. Keeping an eye on it because it's very unique. But yeah, what do you think of this one, Taylor?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was really. It seemed like it's very puzzle centric, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it kind of caught me by surprise. The humor was driving with me. I was enjoying that, and yeah, I think just the arsenal of just pulling up your little wheel and circulating between like, oh, growing big, growing small, and then having your grapple gun and just doing different things and interacting with your environment and like throwing like explosive objects at stuff. Like, it seems really really cool and. Um, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of thought put into this and just how you're kind of dealing with these different situations. Now, I wasn't sure, was there like a combat system or are you just running away from enemies?
Yeah, I guess there's a few, like especially when it was like the Bloodborne section, he was definitely doing like some attacks, but I couldn't tell
Yeah.
if that was like almost like a pre-canned animation or if it's actually like Souls-like combat in that moment with like third-person stuff going on. So I think there will be, but maybe that'd be kind of light. I mean, one of the gameplay mechanics we did see was him transforming or like moving terrain or even transforming himself into like some weird cube thing and like climbing up a structure. So I'm gonna guess it's more like puzzle platformer focused, but then maybe there's like a little bit of combat in some of these different worlds you're going to.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's kind of cool then. It just kind of spreads it out a little bit more too, with what the gameplay is. But yeah, the character was really, I don't know, he was making me chuckle. I was really getting attached to him in this trailer.
Absolutely. Well, there were not one, but two Star Wars games announced, and we're going to talk about those right after our very first ad break. But before we do that, I want to thank our Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April of Darkness, Jack Grant, Sam, Superbad Mike, TGGLM 69, Charlie Randell, Cocktail Clay, John with no H, Sam Green, many of which were in our Discord chat tonight watching the show, which was really fun to do that. You can also go to our Patreon to get episodes early and ad-free. Highly recommend doing that. You get to vote on the content that we make in the future as well, such as the Christmas retro that we just did. So have fun checking out that, which was a wild
It's
one.
live now, live on the feeds now. Early,
There you go,
so,
live
yeah.
now on the feeds. Perfect. Just like some of these devs coming up on the stage out today. We have a new podcast episode for you. But we have a lot to talk about, so I'll just leave it there. But yeah, check out the Patreon. It's a great place to go. And yeah, please join the Discord if you aren't in there already. It's always a great time. So with that, let's jump to our first ad break, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. And as I alluded to, Star Wars showed up big tonight. And no, not with a trailer for a game that's already been announced. We got two new games to talk about here. So we'll see what happens with these in the future times. But the first one is Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, which just gives us a CG trailer showing off what to me looked a lot like Rey walking up to like her scavenging ship from Force Awakens, but obviously there's like other characters and it's not quite that, and it's a different timeline. But you guys are the Star Wars freaks. You guys are the Cantina boys. So can you guys tell me what I'm looking at here and why I should be hyped as hell for this?
Well, we don't. There's a lot of things we don't know yet, And I'm gonna bring up one thing. And this is what we're kind of hoping people, because I've seen a bunch of debate online. There's a screenshot I want to bring up at some point. But
Okay.
Dylan, before you saw Rey in Episode 7, there was a character called Bastila that looked a lot like Rey, and she was the like the female lead in Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh,
So,
cool. Okay, so that's got to be
yes.
her, right?
Well, I don't know if it is. So, wait a second. Did I do something here? Or is my screen just messed up? Oh, sorry.
You brought it up and then you put it down.
The way I brought it up, it just like minimized the screen. I just showed Taya's face, so I thought I messed up the whole thing. So, first of all, it's just anytime excited to see Old Republic because we had that remake announced, and luckily we've heard some news about this week, but still got to hold the breath. We don't know what's going to happen with it, but they've confirmed that the director from the first game, and obviously the guy that did the Mass Effect, I'm not sure the whole trilogy, maybe some of them, but the fact that he's back as the director, that's some good odds. It is called Fate of the Old Republic, so I'm with Clay, where I also bring up too, because I'll go to Taylor to ask. I have a screenshot here of they show these three characters. So that character that looks like Rey could be Bastila. To me, that this droid right here, Taylor. I feel like that's looking like HK47
The
to the
HK
right,
unit.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And again, it could be a different
Is that
one.
like the
but
Rogue One homie?
No, he's a little
No.
different. He's a little
Okay.
smaller, but they're known as like assassin droids, right, Taylor? But
Yes, that's
yeah.
it.
So the reason I'm bringing these two up is because those are at least two big members of the crew in the original Knights of the Old Republic. For people that don't know, and for Dylan, they made Knights of the Old Republic, and the second one has some connections to the first game, but it's just its own story set in that
its own
universe. There's no
different
characters
developer
back.
too.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no characters back where, that female looks a lot like Bastila. That looks like HK47. So no one's said anything. No one's even said what the status of this being canonized or whatnot, but they obviously described it as a single RPG. So I don't know. I just don't know. Is it... Because you would have to assume if there is a world where those remakes are happening or that remake's happening, that's why you'd make a third game, right? As those remakes come out, you make people kind of fall in love with those, or you get people that have never played them, people that weren't even born, then boom. Because we saw a couple years ago, I know it's a much smaller scale, but I remember they did a Crash where they did the Insane trilogy, and then they made a new Crash game, right? So like the blueprint's there for studios doing it. They described it, because Maddie asked, they described it as a single-player RPG game, so obviously that could mean a lot of things, but it's not, Knights of the Old Republic Online. But yeah, this was, I said in the Discord, I can't remember, I think it might have been Mike who asked, like, what's the one thing you want to see? So the fact that this was, like, the first big reveal, I was playing with house money the rest of the night, because all I wanted was something Old Republic. Now, yes, much like Dylan Musk or Chris Balga trying to rain on my parade, reminding me of how many games that we have cooking for Star Wars around this
I'm sorry, I
era.
shouldn't have done that.
No, you should, though, because it's good to bring me back down and go, because I've been through one Knights of Old Republic remake announcement, right? But I really want this to be true, because even, obviously it's true, but I want it to go through, because even if it's not the remake, and even if it's like the old game used to be the turn-based type of style fighting, maybe they won't do that. Like the Final Fantasy VII remake, they'll change it up. But I think that world, and that's one where the skill tree, Dylan, we talk about all the time. That's literally a skill tree where, hey, you go a certain route, things are closed off. Light side, dark side. Like, there's so many, to me, it's like, great things that I look for in RPG come from that original Knights of Old Republic. So yeah, sure, I still want that remake, but I just don't know, would this be like that second game where, hey, it's a game in that era, but it's new characters? But the fact to me that there's two characters that look similar to that the very first one, I don't know, it's that smoke, there's fire situation. But Taylor, I hear you typing. What are you looking into right now?
I was just there's a couple things I was looking at, and the first thing that really hit me was looking at their ship. And I thought, man, where the fuck did I see this ship before? It was pull at me. And so I Googled it, and I'm like, okay, Star Wars ships. I'm looking through all like 20 bazillion Star Wars ships, and finally I figured out it's Luthen Rail's Andor ship, the Hullcraft from Andor.
That's what I was thinking. That's okay.
Hullcraft. Is that like
it's
ship, or?
Hullcraft. Yeah, it's here. Let me pop
But
it
nothing
up
from
here.
Knights of the Republic, right? Because I know they
No.
have that. Yeah, okay.
It's
so.
this ship here, and I thought, man, that is super cool because this ship is super fucking awesome, and if we got to pilot
that
this ship,
you were talking about. I was talking about the ship that was crashed in the water.
no, that one gave me some Prometheus vibes or something like that.
That looked like, you remember in obviously they kind of ripped it off. Remember Knights of the Republic Taylor? There's some sort of weapon and they put on a ship and it can like hurt planets. I felt like that ship looked like this.
Yeah, what
and
was that thing called?
I can't remember, but even the director did send out one tweet, didn't confirm anything, just said that he's happy to be back in this world and working on this. And obviously, it's just a cinematic trailer, but I really need this one to be true. I'd love the Forge. Yeah, search the Forge today. I can't remember bringing that up, but
Yes.
yeah, the Forge. Thank you, Fanboy
Play.
Clay. Check out Star Wars Alliance on the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, our podcast network over there. Him and Katie break that down. So, yeah, I think this is a very hype announcement. Very cool trailer. I obviously need more details because where were we? 4 years ago, we got a very cool Knights of the Old Republic remake announcement. And that's all we ever got was just that, right? So, it is raining on the parade, but it's not that. It's more a reality check because it is just a cinematic trailer, right? And we've been here before. Same thing. 3 to 4 years ago, our first look at the Wonder Woman game was at the Game Awards, right? So it's like lots of times Jeff is just going for, oh, you guys are working on that? That's cool. Can you get a trailer ready for December? Great. So that's where I really want this to be real. And in the context of getting an actual proper sequel, Knights of the Old Republic, I think there's tons of potential. It's just, can this happen? I don't know. And I think it has a lot of weight on its shoulders as well as being a follow-up. But I was very excited by this, and I'm just crossing every finger and toe I can,
I don't think this is going to be in itself a direct sequel or in any way to Knights of the Old Republic. I think it's going to be its own, again, a spiritual successor, its own thing. And I say that because yes, we're getting Knights of the Old Republic remakes supposedly, but we also got Republic Commandos really re-released on Switch. We've gotten a bunch of other Star Wars games that have been redone and brought back, right? So they're trying to bring those old titles back into the fold, which is great, but then also introduce new ones. And I am apprehensive. I'm still waiting on Star Wars Eclipse. It's
Yep.
just we're sitting here waiting, twiddling our thumbs. So I hope that this comes out because I'd love to have a little bit more of this era explored, and in a sense too, where hey, I know, we'll say what you want about canon, but I would love to see a game designed in the Old Republic era that actually incorporates the elements of the future or the elements of the universe that has been created and given to us right now. I think for me, that gets me really excited. So it's something that it would be really, really nice to dabble into. And but still as lightsaber too, wasn't it? I mean, I guess you could change it really, but wasn't it always like gold? Wasn't that her like staple or
Well, but
yellow
you could
crystal?
change it because remember, minor spoilers for the game. She does turn to the dark
Fall.
side.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. If you come back, you might want to try. And you're probably right. It's just weird that they use a character that's like a Caucasian female that has like a braid. That's
Oh,
similar
people
to
are
like
going to be
Raynor.
pissed off like the Cal Kestis. Oh, we just play as a generic human, not
Well,
playing as an
maybe.
alien.
But see, I was bringing this up. This ship that was crashed to me, like I don't know for sure. It's a little bit different. So that's the ship from the Knights of the Old Republic game, The Forge, and that is the ship in the trailer. I don't know if I can like make it look.
It's more
But
like
you
a
see,
prong, like a pointy thing.
yeah, but if it crashes,
Could be.
some new edges form, So I know I just found it, and I don't know. Maybe it's just they're just using similar iconography, like that character, like the droid. I just found it odd that there was a character that looked like one of the main characters, and there's a droid that looked like one of the main characters. I thought that was very suspicious to put those
Yeah.
two things in, but maybe it's just hey, people like this aesthetic. Let's go with it.
Taylor, if you had your way, would you want this to be Basilia as a
Bastila.
protagonist?
Bastilla. I would really like it because if you say that's her, then I think it automatically just brings into the fold the characters that are affiliated with her. So that's what gets me excited. The reason I'm going to push back on it not being the Forge is because it seems like they're clearly there dealing with something, dealing with whatever alien this is inside that ship. Now I'm just. Is it Drengir? I doubt it, but hey, I wouldn't put it past them to be throwing in the Drengir in there that you're dealing with, which would be pretty freaking cool. I think at the same time, I was getting that conflicting kind of energy from her where okay you see her and it just feels very much okay Jedi, but even after she ignites her lightsaber and it's blue, you feel like okay she's not exhibiting the facial expressions of a Jedi. She feels like she's got some dark side going on in her too. So I feel like and that's playing at the both sides kind of a thing. But whatever alien that was inside that ship, yeah, I'm very interested.
Mm-hmm. Anything else on Fate of the Old Republic at this point in time?
Did they drop a year?
I don't think so.
No, that's why we're still a little bit off. And yeah, the director did use the word spiritual successor, so I don't know what that means as far as anything like this. So, I think to Clay's point, because in the original two games he's asking about the character you play as, I think it would be similar where you play as your own unique character and you got the attributes. So that's why to me it's just I'd have to go back and watch the Knights of Old Republic trailers, but I think it was all about the characters around. They didn't show a main character because you were that main character.
Right.
So that's why some of these characters were like, oh, they're similar. But even if it's not, even if it is just in that world and it is just, hey, we're picking out new characters in a similar fashion, again, an RPG should be about choice. And to me, the two things, well, at least for me, it should be. And either the two ways you do that are a character making choices, story-wise decision that can really impact what happens to characters or the story, or it should be very character-driven where that's the perfect game to do it. In a world where you're deciding if you're a light Jedi or a dark side user, like that the Star Wars world is built for choice. Like that was the best thing in that game where it's like literally if you help somebody, you get their money, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to take that. I'm taking that money back, and you can see your dark side bar go a little more to the right and stuff, and or to the left, I guess. But yeah, no, I really need to also for the side quests. I need them to get these ducks in a row because like is this remake happening? Because if this game's coming out no remake, then it's okay. Well, let's retro that first game, right? But if that remake's happening, so I just need Star Wars to tell us as content creators what's going on. So, because I have Knights of the Republic download on my Xbox, but I refuse to touch it because that remake might come out. So it's like I just want to know already, so we can start planning this out and talk about these casts, you know. So
that makes sense. Well, something that's a bit more right ahead of us here is the other Star Wars game, Star Wars Galactic Racer, which is like a new pod racing game coming out next year apparently. And compared to like the old N64 pod racers, this looks a lot darker and grittier. It's like nighttime when we get this trailer going on. But I feel like Sebulba is one of the iconic characters from those OG ones, and right at the end of the trailer, Sebulba or a Sebulba looking guy is like popping up here. So I feel like that's
it's a ball. Well, I guess, but I think
it's supposed to be Sebulba.
I think it's him.
I assume so, but it could just be his brother or something. But yeah, what'd you guys think of this? I did not see a new pod racing game coming, but hey, we're getting one.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that pod racing game because that's one that I downloaded and I've been playing it intermittently, not like
The
frequently.
N64 one?
Yeah, because
Oh,
it's on Xbox Games Pass, and so I popped it on a few times and I've been playing it over the past little bit. I haven't tapped into it for a few months, but it's a good time. And so this completely caught me off guard, but I am so on board for it. I love it and I'm hoping that it's a little bit more pod racery than just speeder bikes, but I'm definitely I'm there for it. I remember I think it was like Star Wars Rogue Squadron 3 on GameCube or something like that. They have like speeder bike chases, which is like your eyes just fucking melt because playing a game like that on GameCube it was just brutal. But I'm always there for the Star Wars racing games. I love that stuff so much. I'm always there for ships, and this is just, I get to go fast, get to be speed, and oh man, I can't wait to just get like, if it's like a Need for Speed style, like just upgrading your ship and your speeder and just decking it out with all these specific mods and customizations to give you the edge, like doing drifts and just like seeing what the courses are like, and oh my gosh, I'm there. And just Sebulba, oh my goodness. And even it's cool too because this is obviously a post episode 6 racing game for just whatever small story they're going to throw in there, which is also
How did you pick that up?
Jakku with the down Star Destroyers. I'm just on that one map.
Yeah.
And plus, Sebulba's looking super aged, so that just gets me jazzed.
Kicking, hey? So that means
He is.
How come we didn't see pod racing in any of the sequel trilogy movies too? It's still kicking.
That's a good question.
Oh, they just didn't want to touch. They didn't want to tap on it.
Pretty
touch
dire
upon
time in the universe, I think. In that
Yeah,
era,
I guess
right?
so. Yeah, if you don't have money to spare, but yeah, I guess I'm so curious on. Is it just multiplayer stuff? If it is, there's a campaign, career mode, like what it is. Who are the people? I really hope they go like balls to the wall and not just be like, okay, we got Sebulba and a couple of aliens. No, I want like an unlockable character to be like young Anakin Skywalker. Like people that have raced, but still don't just be like, well, it's set after episode 6, so we're only going with some aliens that would be around. Like, no, have
That's
some
a good
fun
point.
with
It doesn't seem as goofy in that way,
No.
like a Sonic Racing Cross Worlds or
Yeah.
whatever.
And who knows what that N64 one was, which that was the last time, I can't remember the year of it we played it, but the second time Dylan won the Geek for Scotland tournament was,
I remember that,
it was him and Jessica in the finals in this span and got that N64 one, and poor Jessica. There's another person like myself. Jessica got to the finals because she did some good betting, got there and had to play Dylan in that game, and it did not go well for her. But so check out, that is somewhere on the feeds. But yeah, so that's what my mind went to right away though, was whether it's Taylor or myself, if it's reviewed good enough and it has good multiplayer, this is easily a Gauntlet Cup game.
I
next
cannot
year.
wait to play that game on
Yes.
the 24-hour stream. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's so many things that when they pop up on these Summer Game Awards, video games, whatever it be, it's like, oh, this is perfect for a stream or the 24-hour stream or the Geek for Scotland. So look out, you'll see that in the cup. It'll be in the pool of games for sure. I'm gonna add after this is done. But I hope it's fun. I think we could have like some really good moments with that. So I hope it's a good time, and I also hope it's not a full price game, unless it's just like a massive racing game. I think this is one of those you could go for like a Canadian 40 to 60. That's what I would like to see. I just don't know in this, which we'll talk about a lot in this year coming up, 2026, and that's if GTA comes out. There are so many games coming out. To me, it's just like you need to get out there and try to get your footprint in, and if this is a full price game, I think it's dead in the water. I think it has a lot of fun
Yeah.
and nostalgia for certain people, but a full price game, that'd be very hard to justify, even myself, unless it's just like one of these things where,
I didn't.
man, it's a fun game you
Yeah.
have to get, you know?
I didn't
So,
catch the developer on it, but like maybe it's a Ubisoft or an EA Play thing. Like maybe it's in
Oh, yeah,
a
that'd be
service. Maybe that's a
nice.
good way for it to get a lot of players or something like that.
mhm.
Yeah, but I just wonder, compared to those old games and limitations of the hardware, like I wonder how many racers you're gonna get in this. Hopefully, like the way like even Mario Kart World was like, oh yeah, we're going up to freaking 32 people, just like a ton of, or
Yeah.
24, I guess. Yeah, 24. Like I hope pod racing does something like that as well. Just a ton of racers, like F-Zero style. Just chuck like 30 people in there and have people blowing up left and right. That would be really cool.
I got a
Go ahead.
point here to counter Travis. You said, "Where's pod racing in the sequel trilogy?" Well, they scrapped it for the horse farriers
about-
racing,
yes,
so
don't
maybe
talk
you get
about
that in here.
Equestrian.
What is that place called? Let's punch it where it hurts. Put a fist to the city.
Cor-
Where is it?
Corey Croesus or something.
No, where's the betting planet?
I think that was
Canto
right. I think
Bite.
it's called
Canto
Croesus.
Bite.
That's a Canto Bite.
Yeah, this character says she wants to fight by using love, but then also put a whole fist to the universe. I digress. I just had one more thing back because there's a semi-press release for Fate of Old Republic. Did you have anything else on these games, guys?
Mm-mm.
The only thing that was it's just a bunch of jargon of like him saying like, oh, throughout my 2 decades working on Star Wars games, I have been fortunate to firsthand, blah, blah, blah. But it said in this thing, although, and I think this is coming from StarWars.com, although Fate of the Old Republic is not a direct sequel or continuation, is being built by the people who helped shape that legacy. So I think that's kind of soft confirming that it's not. I don't think it's even going to be a reboot. It sounds like it's not even going to be like. I guess it is just some characters that look like characters we know of. So, which it doesn't hurt as bad if we actually can get the remakes of Knights of the Old Republic. I still think there is a sequel there for it, but it looks like that is the situation where it's not a direct sequel or continuation of characters we know. I think
Mhm.
so. Damn.
Canto Butt is what it's called. So thanks.
Canto
Clay,
Butt,
for that.
yeah.
I knew it started with a C. I knew that. Moving along, I just had a thought. I feel like some week when I'm sick or whatever and I need someone to take over Sidequest, I feel like you guys should do a Cantina Sidequest. I want to hear you guys like rank
Sure.
your excitement for all the Star Wars projects and maybe some
We'll
other
do a
things as well.
Cantina Bite side
Cantina
quest.
Bite, yeah. I'll put
Yeah.
that on the calendar. I think that
Sure,
sounds
yeah.
that sounds fun.
We can go over canceled games as well that we would have had ranked
Yes.
because there's a lot of those too. So
A lot of potential there, so we'll do that at some point in the new year. Okay, next up is the statue, the elusive social media statue, which got various, it was the talk of the town leading up to the Game Awards. Turns out that it's called the Hellstone, actually, not a statue. Sorry, and it's
Good to
for a new Divinity game by Larian, of course, the developers of Baldur's Gate 3 and other Divinity games before Baldur's Gate. So yeah, I think for anyone who isn't aware, like Divinity, I think as far as I can tell, it's pretty much the same thing as Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate is just the D&D IP, but Divinity is kind of like their legally distinct D&D. And so they're going back to it. I think it is like, their own IP. And yeah, I think some people were like, I don't know if this is like, because even this sort of leaked beforehand, like, oh, this is what the statue is. It's a Larian, it's a Divinity thing, and people are like not excited for that. But like, think about how hype Baldur's Gate 3 was, how big that game was, how big of a deal it was at the Game Awards, and still 2 years later, it was still here as like an ongoing game, right?
yeah.
So I think it's worthy of a big hype moment, and this also does seem like kind of too soon, but also it's good to remember that Baldur's Gate 3 was like an early access game that was in development for years and years and years, and had like playtest, like people playing it on Steam, giving them feedback, and that's what led to it being such a good game, is because they had so much feedback from players. So that's why I think they announced this so early. Is my guess is, I mean, it'll probably still be a couple years away, but I'm guessing this game will be an early access thing as well, where they'll kind of build up the game over a couple of years before they finally 1.0 launch it, and then it wins a bunch of game awards again. I feel like is maybe the thing here. So pretty crazy trailer though, like very dark. And Travis, you can speak on that because your kids were kind of in the room when this trailer was
Yeah,
going
no, they
on.
were fully watching. They were locked into the Game Awards, and it was getting dark enough, and there was getting kind of some scary stuff. The gore wasn't bugging them too much, But then there was some scary stuff going on, so I was like looking away and everything, and then kind of stopped and then go back, and then just smash cut to some guy getting ridden by a girl, some guy laying on top of a girl and doing stuff. I was like, oh man, I should know because the Game Awards.
It was
can be-
interspecies.
yeah, and the Game Awards can be where they show a highlight reel of Donkey Kong and then somebody's getting DP'd over there. So you know what, my mistake on that front. But yeah, it was like I have no history with this series, and obviously Baldur's Gate is on the backlog list. I'm gonna try to get to in the next 2 to 3 years here. 2026 is gonna stop me for a little bit here, but I would like to because I've heard things about and seen things where like, okay, could be my jam. Like to try it, but it wasn't too much of a hype announcement for me, and I think it was generally. I think it was just that I don't know if it deserved the. I guess it's up for fans and people that have more gaming knowledge than me. I don't know if it deserved the like 4 week out. Oh, there's a statue on the set. What's this? You know, I felt like it was maybe could have been a bigger franchise or something that was a new IP but was from a big developer. But I guess it's still one where they return to their roots, and it is like you said for the history of the Game Awards is a big idea or big moment because those people just made a very great game for them a couple of years ago, right? And that got a lot of the chutzpah. So, yeah, no, it was still a cool, very good trailer though. I'll say that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything, Taylor?
It just I was in it. I was driving like, okay, this guy's just burning in here, and then you see the fucking Argonian just fucking going to town with this chick riding him, and then another, guy burning, another close up shot, and then all of a sudden you get like this, it looked like a succubus or something, just a succubus, like a pale skinned demon woman lady thing. Just there's some crazy sexual fantasies going on in this game. I'm curious if that's part of the gameplay. What's
Probably.
that?
There's a lot of sex in Baldur's
for
Gate.
you.
Fantasies? I mean, I always want to be an Argonian. I always like the Argonian species, but there you go. Interesting game, and
I mean,
clearly
remember
not
you can
Elder
fuck
Scrolls.
a bear in Baldur's Gate, Taylor. So I'm sure you can do all the fucking.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, why stop at a bear now? Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's just add more animals in there.
Exactly. That's what gaming's for. Next up was a game called For Loop. J.J. Abrams and some guy who worked on Left 4 Dead once upon a time came up on stage to talk about this one, showed off a trailer. It looked so much like a Redfall, which is obviously not a good look for how much that game ate shit when it came out. I like Redfall for what it's worth a little bit. So, but no, this was not my jam, and I don't know. I just feel like JJ. I don't know what this guy's been doing for the last 7 years, but he's up to some interesting stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, he just continues to find ways to funnel money and take money and stuff. Because they announced, I think we got the press release like earlier this week that Bad Robot was going in the gaming division. But yeah, since Rise of Skywalker, he's not been up to much. And yeah, this game didn't look like it either. Because I thought, oh, maybe he had this great game showcase. But okay, not doing much on the movie side, but maybe he's pivoting. Maybe he's found a new lease on life here. But no, this definitely just felt like a moment like, well, J.J. Abrams is of some note. Let's put him on stage. Gets a moment. That's all right. But I don't. I don't foresee myself playing this game. I don't foresee us really talking about this game ever again. So it's kind of just a fart cloud.
Yeah, for sure. I'll jump us over to next game, On Toast, which is coming out next year. This is from Fictional Games, who did Soma and did the Amnesia games, and this seems kind of closer to the Soma realm of things. It's another sci-fi game for them, even though Amnesia is more. I don't even know if you'd call it fantasy. I guess it's just like modern day, but you're in like prisons and shit. But their last one was like in World War II or something like that, which I really liked. Amnesia: The Bunker, their most recent game, was really good. So I'm pretty excited for this. I have not played Soma. That's definitely a blind spot for me in terms of that studio and that genre. I know Kirkland's a big fan of that one. But yeah, I thought this looked really good. You got Stellan Skarsgård in there. So it's kind of a interesting jump up for them in terms of, I feel like they haven't really had big actors or like really big characters in their games from at least what I've played. So this seems like a different direction. But I thought it looked really good too, like visually, just a real step up from some of their previous stuff. And yeah, I just feel like they haven't really done sci-fi in a while. So this is pretty cool. I'm very excited for this one. This is one of my more excited games from this showcase overall, I think.
Yeah, I think this is one I'm gonna keep my eye out. At first, I know it wasn't this, but it had just even some aesthetic stuff similar to Prey, not exactly, but just kind of the feeling
Yeah,
a little
definitely.
like a little off kilter. Some of sci-fi elements. So yeah, I think this is one that I'll wait to hear what you think about or others. It did interest me, but again, next year, lots of games to pick from. If it's any in that sphere, it might be one that waits. But maybe that's a game like Prey that I picked up years later for like 20, $15 or whatever, right? So maybe it's something like that where I hear good things and it goes on a list. But yeah, it was fun time, and I liked hearing Stellan at the Game Awards. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Taylor, do you have any interest in this? I feel like this is somewhere crossing some genres of things you're into.
I'm interested, but I'm kind of with you, Travis, where the list is growing a lot. But I'm curious in the sense, JJ, I did not realize he wasn't up to anything since Star Wars. So, and I had no idea that his company is actually diving into the video game realm either.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they truly are, or if it's just vapor. Resident Evil.
I don't know.
You're not gonna let him go, but you're not blowing
What?
past that. You're talking about the game we just previously talked about, and then Dylan set you up for a different game to talk about, right? The Onos game and the JJ game, those are two different ones, right?
Are
They
they?
are. They are.
Oh,
They are.
I did not catch that transition.
There's a lot of trailers, and I know Taylor's coming in hot, so it's fine. We'll give it a pass.
I just before listeners thought they're going crazy, So
I'll tell you what, though. J.J. Abrams did not produce Resident Evil Requiem, as far as I know, which is a game that we already knew about. Obviously, it's coming out February 27th, very soon. The leaks were true, and Leon S. Kennedy is in this game. Jeff was kind of highlighting that he is more the action character, and then
yeah,
I already forget the name of the other. Is it Claire? No, it's not
I
Claire.
think it's
Claire's
Claire.
another
I
big-
saw
Claire
this earlier
Redfield?
for-
No, Claire, because Claire's like an actual big Resident Evil character, so I can't remember
I'll
what this
find
new
it.
character's name is. Grace. I think it's Grace. And I guess she'll be more like stealthy and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I guess that to me, I take that as like you're going to switch between them in the story rather than picking them at
Yeah.
like the beginning of the game and having different playthroughs.
So yeah, the game has two protagonists. Leon is action focused, and Grace's side will be story driven focused. So obviously, like you said,
Okay.
stealth. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but that's what they said.
No, that's interesting. I'm really curious how that goes because yeah, like the recent games I've had some time, not with 7 or 8, but other games you've got to like pick your character at the beginning and then you get like separate playthroughs or like mostly the same playthrough but like a couple small little differences and then there's replay value there, but this does not seem like that's what they're doing here. Seems like you're going to switch between these characters, I assume. So I don't know. Yeah, a little bit of a different direction. Leon, it's been I guess he was in 6, right? I think, and that was about a decade ago. Obviously, he's been in a bunch of remakes recently, so it's not like he's been
Yes.
away for too long. But cool to see him. Although I got to say, his beard was not looking good, and I don't know. I did not like that. So I'm hoping it was weird YouTube compression was not able to capture the small details of the hairs on his face, but shave that thing off, buddy. Hopefully, there's a skin that he has where you can get rid of that thing.
Yeah, this was. This game is just putting me in such a hard spot. I really need to like sit down and plan out next year because next year's big, and I definitely wrote this off and like, okay, not getting it. And I knew that this Leon Kennedy thing's like the worst kept secret in gaming history, right? Because it's like the second this game was announced, I think there was some Easter egg where it's like, oh, Leon's in this, and then it was around summertime that I don't know if you heard about this, Dylan, but an IGN employee accidentally said like, oh, and then when you play as Leon. Like, and they had like like seen behind closed doors or something, and then everyone else's face on the panel kind of like looked like they were about to throw up, and then they kind of walked it back like, oh, like if you did, but it was like, okay, you've definitely seen something.
Okay. I missed
And
that.
then
That's
earlier
fine.
this week, yeah, a bunch of art comes out that's Leon Kennedy with the beard. So I was avoiding that hype wave, right? I was like, okay, because I've told you guys before on this show that what I want to do because I have 3 and 4 got the remakes, right?
I mean, 2, 3, 4, 1 got a remake at some point.
Yeah,
like a
one got
remaster.
I'm fine to leave 1 in the dust. So I think 3 and 4 is the most recent remakes that I have those purchased, and then I still got at Resident Evil 8 because I played 7, didn't get around to it. So I was like, you know what, 9's coming out. That's okay. I don't need to enjoy that or play that because if I want to, I'm going to play through these ones first, a bit shorter, and get there. There is something that took me back to playing Resident Evil 4 on PS2 when they show the back shots. Don't be dirty people, but the back shots of Leon Kennedy shooting people and doing action. I was like, man, that took me back to when I was like a 12, 10-year-old kid. I was just like, man, I don't want. I don't have the time, but like, there's like a world where I hope that people say, "Oh, this game's just fine." Because if this is one of these games where, and I can't. Luckily, if people just love the game, I can't buy it right away because I want to play through even 8. But still, I wanted to kind of refresh myself and go back and play some of the journeys with those ones. But yeah, this I think this is what we talked about, Dylan, when this game got revealed. I think even this thing with Grace and Leon, it feels like the perfect combination of Resident Evil, because with 7 and 8, they were kind of slicing out a new territory for the Resident Evil games, and I think that helped revive them. But then you have tons of people that loved that side, the government stories and Leon and the shooting and the action. I think that I love that Grace, I feel like that'll be more like 7 and 8 gameplay style Resident Evil, and then the Leon stuff will be like the 2 to 4 Resident Evil. So I honestly think this has like a good chance of people ranking this as like their favorite Resident Evil game. Obviously,
Wow.
Leon coming
Okay.
back is big storyline stuff, but I just feel like if you're someone like myself that grew up with one generation and then liked the other generation later, this has the bones to be something perfect. Can they stick the landing? That's to be seen. But when I heard that, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And even then, I think in between, since the last time we talked about, so at least you and me talking about Sidequest, they announced that they'll have like the first-person view and third-person view. So again, I loved that first-person view in the last Resident Evil game. So it's like, it just feels like they're just scratching every itch right now. So it feels like I'm gonna have a big case of FOMO in February, but I don't know, we'll see. But this looked great. I think marketing, everything has been top notch for Requiem. I think they've hit it out of the park. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Any thoughts on that one, Taylor?
I mean, I played the back shots. I played a bunch of 7, and I really liked it. Again, that's the one where I played in VR, and I just got sick. But I really wanted to play Village, and it's still on my itinerary to get around to trying.
what's that game going for nowadays? You know, because I've been waiting for a sale.
I'm sure. Like if it's not on sale right now, Boxing Day, you'll get a sale on it for sure.
It's been out for a
I
while,
like
too,
calling
think.
a backlog an itinerary. I'm gonna steal that from you, Taylor.
Yeah, go for it. It's all yours. Yeah, so this is one that I would like to inquire with. I don't know the story at all. I mean, if we're talking about the Mila movies, fuck, I can tell you that story all day. But games,
We're not talking about the
no,
movies.
no, I'm definitely out of tune with the games and the story going on here. So, but it's still, again, the games, these look really, really awesome.
Yeah.
This looks like a
Nice.
fake ad. I'm getting an ad from Xbox.com for a PlayStation 4 version of Village for $12. That doesn't look right.
It could be, man. Those games go on sale.
But it was
for
at
sure.
Xbox.com selling a PS4 version. So I'm trying to find it. Right now,
That sounds sus for sure.
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. That was the ad when I searched for like Resident Evil Village. I was just trying to get a price because I saw like $51 dollars on. It looks. I've seen. So it looks like it's somewhere between like the 40 mark. So still, about
Yeah.
40ish. So maybe, but I just got other games. But yeah, maybe. So
Yeah.
But who knows? I guess what is it? Boxing Day is coming up, so you never know, Taylor.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Okay. Next up, I think this one might just be a me one, but we got Order of the Sinking Star, which I believe they said was from the developer of The Witness, and I can't remember his name right now, but he's a big indie game guy. This game looked really cool. It's a classic like Sokoban game or like a block pusher game. But then at some point they kind of zoom the camera out and you see that all these little puzzle rooms that you've been in are all connected on this huge interconnected map. And it seems like there's kind of 4 quadrants you can go into as well. So I'm guessing you can kind of start chipping away at this obviously there's individual level puzzles, but then there's like a greater world puzzle and getting through it. And it seems like you can kind of start from 4 different areas and then maybe work your way through, go through different zones, learn different mechanics. But then there's it seems like there's individual characters too that have different abilities. Some of them are like teleporting through walls. Some are like shooting stuff. And I don't know. It seems crazy. Seems really cool. I like the art style. I think it looks really fun. It's kind of feels like it's very inspired by Steven's Sausage Roll. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one, but it's like an indie game like this. But it has that same situation where individual little puzzle rooms, but then at some point it's like, whoa, this is like one huge world map actually that I've been solving this whole time. So there's a few puzzle games that have been doing that lately. Cocoon sort of did something like that as well, whereas kind of one continuous world. So I really like the look of this one. This one's definitely high on the wish list now for me for next year. We'll see when that one comes out.
Nice.
And then I'll jump over to Control Resonant. This is coming out apparently next year. I wrote it in my notes. Is that true? Remedy just pumping
Yes.
games out. That is
I
insane.
was so mad. Because I had the perfect like. I'm not gone far. I played like just 10 minutes of it and I had to stop. But I've literally started my Alan Wake 2 thing, and that was my plan to do Alan Wake. There's a couple other games next side quests I'm on top of that maybe moved up in the backlog or they're itinerary, but I'm not gonna say that because I'm gonna fucked up that word multiple times. But yeah, I was like, okay, after Alan Wake, I'll be on a Control, and now already Control 2 is like on the way, So very impressive and wild ass trailer. It was. I knew it was Control because I don't know the character in that, but I saw that character, girl, red hair, looked very similar. So okay, this had to be Control 2. I feel like Remedy's been quiet, even though, like you said, they're pumping out games.
Yeah,
but
seems like she's like passing the torch in a way by like stabbing this guy on a table,
Yeah,
into making him like the new playable character in this weird dream world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the setting seems a lot different. Obviously, almost the entirety of Control takes place in the building that I can't remember the name of, but you're like inside, generally speaking, going deeper into this crazy place. And this, seems like just even the setting, being out in the streets, seeing this world. Even, the character emerging from a subway is like, okay, you do this in Alan Wake too all the time. You're always coming out of subways and stuff. So
I was wondering what was happening there because I just seen a bit of that. And even at first, the guy was looking like, before they showed like a full shot of his face, it was a guy with a little scruff and like dark black hair. I was like, okay, what are they doing? Because I know supposedly Alan Wake 2 has some connections to Control. So it's like,
well, it does. And they're pretty overt with that now because one of the DLCs for Alan Wake 2 was a DLC where you play as Jesse from Control in the game. So they've been circling that. Like they've always said that they're in the same world, but it was like, okay, there's like a couple notes in Control that connect to something in Alan Wake. Then it got very overt with Alan Wake 2, and now it seems like maybe that connection's even greater. Even like the bit of this character's design to me looked like some stuff from Alan Wake 2. So yeah, I feel like they're really connecting those things now, which is like a fun way to build it up over Alan Wake 1 came out so long ago, so really taking a long time to like stitch these things together I think is pretty cool. And yeah, crazy trailer, has a lot of the trippy Inception type scenes of the worlds flipping. It has like things like freezing in real time. I love the guy's weapons where it's pretty much just like two little, I don't know, steel sticks or something, but you can kind of click them together, pull them apart, or like extend them. Really just weird design, simple but weird design, and kind of fits with like the I forget the name of the pistol that was in Control, but like just the weapon design is so good and interesting in Remedy stuff. So yeah, I loved Alan Wake 2, one of my favorite games of that year. Still never actually rolled credits on Control. Probably put like 10-15 hours into it, so I'll probably have to do that at some point before this comes out. But yeah, just crazy trailer. There's a couple things that obviously make it look like Control, but just so different. And I think that's what I love about Remedy is they don't really just do the same thing over and over again. They really, even Alan Wake 1 to 2, like very different kind of experiences. So they don't like to just repeat what they've done before.
Yeah, and even that's why I love, like, it's using the same concept of the previous games, like Alan Wake 1 to 2 and then Control to this. Just seems like it's on a grander scale and a little bit different. That moment where he walks to the street and all the buildings were flipped, man, it looked like Inception. For a second I thought, oh, am I wrong? Did someone get the rights to Inception? They're making a video game? Because Christopher Nolan talked at one point they're gonna. But this looks great. And Remedy's also one where it's like with Alan Wake and Control. I know they're probably not like the best-selling games of all time, but I don't know how any movie studio hasn't been like, we're gonna buy an option the script. Like Wake, I feel like it's easier, but like even Control, it's like I feel like that's prime for a 2-hour trippy, heady action movie with the right team director. So it's like that's what I love about these. That's why people always say they're like Travis games because they look so cinematic. So yeah, my heart, I literally fell to my knees. I was joking because the girls were around, but I was like, please don't be. It happened to me twice with Star Wars, the Racers game, and this. Like I said, please don't be next year, and it was. I was like, God.
My thought maybe because it is next year, like maybe this is a smaller thing, right? The fact that they didn't call it Control 2, the fact that Alan Wake 2 came out. It wasn't
2 years ago now, right? 2023?
Yeah, that's right. 2 years ago, but like late 2 years ago, and then they've had DLC and stuff. So if it is coming out next year, like maybe it is a smaller, bite-sized kind of thing. Maybe hopefully that would make it a little bit cheaper as well, shorter experience, which kind of makes sense. Like even Alan Wake 2, some of its DLCs were like just short little one-off stories, and so it seems like they're almost taking this and like, we're just going to do an episode this time, or this time we're going to do a movie. It seems like they kind of switch around how they put their things out. So
I love it.
I don't know. Maybe that's why this is coming out next year if it truly is. But it'd be kind of weird to do that because Control itself came out in 2019, so it seems like kind of strange to do that many years later. But maybe it's just a tech thing. Maybe like
Yeah.
they just wanted to do something with the Series X and PS5 that they couldn't quite do with the PS4 generation when Control 1 came out. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that as well.
Yeah. And maybe it's just in between projects, right? And there's nothing wrong with like that's what you said, how they kind of change it up, how they release things or do things. I think I love that. It kind of just gives them some versatility, and it's not
Yeah.
just the same. Okay, make a game sequel, make another game sequel, I think we have a couple of those devs that are kind of in that cycle, right? And even as much as we love them, we kind of know that happens with like Rockstar or even Bethesda, right? It's like, okay, they did Starfield, now it's on the Skyrim and Elder Scrolls, and you know what's going to happen after Elder Scrolls? It'll be Fallout, and then it's going to be like this kind of rinse repeat,
Yeah.
which is still fun because like it takes a while to get those games, but I think it is kind of cool. Of like, oh, what if Bethesda put out a smaller, Elder Scrolls story or something? They wouldn't do that, but no, I'm excited for this. So this is definitely on the radar. So
Any thoughts on this one, Taylor? I don't think you've played a Remedy game yet, right?
No, I haven't touched Alan Wake.
you should, man. You'd like it. You'd dig it a lot. As I just played it like earlier this year, I think it's right up your alley.
Yeah, again, that's another one that I wanted to try because it looks supernatural. I'm assuming I don't know really anything about it, but I think it's just the only thing I know. A guy's wife disappears and supernatural aspect, but yeah, no, it's definitely one that's interested me. I remember when that first Control had come out, but I don't remember. Like I know I never played it. I don't remember much of like anything really specific wise about it. So this is actually like Control 2, or like they're calling it Control Resonance. So is this just like an anthology, a spin-off, or like what is it, like actually Control
I mean,
2?
we were just talking about that. I don't know. It could be just based on the release date in terms of how recently Alan Wake came out. But also it seems like a weird thing to do, what is it? 7 years after
7
Control
years,
released to do like a smaller thing like that. So not really sure.
I was gonna go because when we were talking, I was trying to look it up. Dylan, are you getting Resident Evil Requiem?
The release date just sucks, man, because it's so close
Yeah.
to James Bond. It's so close to
Right.
another thing. I thought.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious. So now I'm just on some wavelength. Taylor, for I think this is right. I'm on Xbox.com and CA. It says for the next 6 days, Resident Evil Village is on sale for $12.49. So if you have any interest, $12, 6 days. I would. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like. The website's telling me. So there you
That's
go,
on Xbox.
Yeah, that's what I have right
website?
here. So
Let's take a
I was
look.
just seeing. But
I'm
yeah.
definitely quite intrigued with Resident Evil, and yeah, it is. Actually, it's like a month before 007, so.
There's some time. Okay, maybe we'll talk. Maybe because it's $12.
And I think Deus Ex remaster, I was maybe interested in that. That got delayed.
Yeah,
So
it did, yeah.
there's a world. There's a world where I want to get Resident Evil.
Maybe
It's
looking
just-
back, maybe I'll shift some things because that.
if you want to get it, I would buy it probably because I would love to do that review. So.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance that it could end up on Games Pass pretty quick? Because Games Pass has all the other Resident Evils, does it not? They got a pretty good selection.
Well, now it's more expensive to get Game Pass for a month than it is to buy.
Well, that's true, Taylor.
Requiem
Yeah.
or Resident Evil.
Just get the $22 Game Pass card on Amazon, and you're all
This
set.
is still cheaper though. This is $12.
Oh, for
Yeah,
this
what's
one,
the
yeah. But I thought you were talking about Requiem.
No, that'll be not for a bit.
That would take
and,
years.
and I also think I think they know what they got cooking. I think the Leon Kennedy, I think they know we can wait a little longer before we put this on a Games Pass or a sale because I think they know the fan base they've been asking for this guy for quite a while, So I think I think just even the last one, Village, sold better than was it Biohazard, right? Technically the name, right? Resident
Village
Evil
was the
Biohazard?
best selling in the series, I think, right?
Yeah, so that's where it's like they're on an uphill battle or uphill swing right now. So okay,
Yeah.
we'll see. TBD.
I'm getting a $9.99 price tag. Was your $12 with tax and everything?
Maybe even then, that's getting better. That's great. We'll update you next week.
Get it. Okay, I missed this part of the stream actually. Travis, can you explain to me the Street Fighter thing?
Do you want me to? Pretty much.
I don't know. You seemed super hyped on it, so I feel like
The only reason I typed on it is because wrestlers are there. So my second favorite wrestler right now, my favorite wrestler in WWE, Cody Rhodes. He was there. He's playing a character, and then
Who is
Roman
he playing?
Reigns. He's playing. I don't fucking know, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm not.
Is he
a
playing
Street Fighter
Guile?
guy. Yeah, he's playing. He has the white hair. like the white flat top and everything like
Yes,
that.
that's Guile. Yeah, yeah.
I'll screen share. They released the images of a couple people for them, but yeah. Here I got the whole kit and caboodle of every character. Here we go, right there. So look at that. Look at all these characters for Street Fighter. They just came out. So one person came out, and then just like another person would come out, another person would come out, another person. So they kind of made this joke about it, and it was getting hyper and hyper. 50 Cent did not appear, so that's the only buddy that did not come there. But yeah, he's Guile, and then the other one, Akuma there, a couple two down is Roman Reigns. He's also a popular WWE wrestler. And in real life, they have like what they call in the business heat. So the fact that they had to promote this together was kind of funny because they apparently don't really get along. So for us in the wrestling Discord and video game Discord, it was tons of fun. But yeah, they just came out and they showed a teaser trailer which looked, I don't know, this looks like just such a janky, weird movie, but it looks like it's going to be one of those so bad it's good type of affairs. I have no interest in Street Fighter, but because there's 3 wrestlers, also the big guy there with the orange hair, that's Jason Momoa, that Hulk-like looking guy.
Right.
That's Jason Momoa. They came out, Andrew Schultz did this moment too that got the crowd where he said that, and to make a moment, the Mortal Kombat 2 crowd's here, or the cast is here, and they're going to come out. And he paused for 5 seconds. He's like, we're just kidding. They don't care about you. So some of the actors didn't like that on Twitter. But, yeah, they just came out, and we're just introducing who they were, introduced the trailer, and was trying to make a moment. I think people that are non-wrestling fans hated this from what I could see. So I can understand as far as if you take that out as I think everyone knows when you're looking at the best adaptations, we talked about also in predictions, this looks like one of those type of maybe really trash movies. It's like, man, this is on for best adaptation. So I don't know. I at the same time, like they're making them look exactly like video game accurate. I feel like they're gonna lean into the cheese of Street Fighter. So to me, it's like, what would I rather take? The boring adaptation that's like very serious with a guy that just wears a green shirt for whatever the guy you said, or do they just go balls to the wall? So yeah, I don't know. There'll be a review on this somewhere, whether it's on the Geekverse feed or the Gimmick feed, one way or another. So. But it looks bad.
Taylor, I feel like you see a lot of these video game movies that maybe aren't of the highest quality. So are you seeing anything?
I mean, there's a chance. I don't know if all of them are bad quality. I mean, Monster Hunter, that was a fantastic movie. Showed Staniliovic, Tony
I was more
Jaa.
thinking Borderlands when I said that.
Oh yeah. Borderlands is not great. This, I don't know. I'd be curious where this fits against like Mortal Kombat, because taking that like side scroller 2D platformer fighting game and putting it into a scenario like this on the big screen.
Coming out the same year now because Mortal Kombat got delayed, so you're getting a Mortal Kombat movie and Street Fighter next year.
Okay. I mean, I don't know anything about Street Fighter except for what's his pickle, Ryu? Is that his name?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I only know him because he's a Smash Bros character. That's his origins.
What about the other one
game.
in Smash?
There is one more in there, right?
What, Scorpion? Who?
Scorpion's
I'm kidding.
in Smash.
I'm kidding.
No, there's another guy. Isn't he blonde? And he has, what's his? I can't remember. Dylan, you would know. Come on, don't.
I know. I just want
You're
to
letting
see
us
Taylor.
drown. You're letting us drown.
I know every.
All I can think of is Richter right now. It's not good. It's not good.
Ken is in there as well.
Oh, Ken, right.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's take our next ad break. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And sorry, I missed another thing, and that was Lego Batman. So, Travis, again, can you fill me in? What's new with the Lego Batman trailer we got today?
Of course, we kind of knew this, but we got a date. It's coming out May 29th. They just showed off a bunch of new characters. They started hinting as deluxe edition. So this is a big thing that I was surprised about, that when they announced the game, they said it's like you can play as Batman, Gordon, Robin, Nightwing, Catwoman, and maybe one other ones. But they're keeping it to not the old school Lego way where it's like, here's 50, 60 characters. It's like, here's your set 7. But as we talked about, like, each character has a bunch of different costumes and things you can change about them. So there's like minor RPG elements. So they revealed just more outfits in the deluxe edition. And apparently it looks like you can play as Joker and Harley Quinn in deluxe edition. So if you want to play some villains, you got to get deluxe edition. I think it's $20 more than the original version. I will be a sucker and play that $20. They got Batman. They got the Arkham trilogy suits in there, Dylan, and they got one of the Batman Beyond suits in there. I'm
so happy for you.
Once Batman Beyond was in there, it's happening. But it just showed off. They even had just tons of tributes to different movies. Even one of the opening of Arkham Asylum, they're recreating that in the game. So I think this is just like again a Batman's just smorgasbord. And yeah, I haven't looked what's coming out around May. Obviously, there's a bunch of games, but I don't know what that is. I'll have to look at that. But yeah, that was the biggest thing, was the trailer and the official date. So
Nice. Very exciting. Okay, let's move along then to Tomb Raider. Got a little 2-in-1 moment here. We had 2 announcements. One was Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, which appears to be like a bit of a remake. I guess you'd call it a remake of the OG game or an early game. And then also a new game, Tomb Raider Catalyst, coming out 2027, which I think, we got an announcement of that a while ago, but not necessarily like the name or release date or anything like that. So we have some more information on that. I think for me, the thing that really stood out is like the tone seems to be quite a bit different than we got with the recent trilogy of games. Like this seems much more, I guess not dark and gritty and survivally. This seems much more kind of bright and cheery, maybe a little more Uncharted, I guess, in terms of the tone is how I would describe it. We saw some dinos and stuff. So, Taylor, what did you think of the 2 Tomb Raider announcements?
This is pretty sweet. I think it gave me major Uncharted vibes, and I've been craving for a new Uncharted adventure after 3, but I don't have a PS4, so I couldn't play that. What was it called? Not Drake's Fortune. Was it Drake's Fortune? That was the 4th one? Thieves' End, that's right. Yeah. So I've been waiting for something like that. I've never gone back and played any of the other Tomb Raiders, but I remember one that my dad had on the computer that I'd play back in the day, and it wasn't like the OG memeable one where she's like super like pointy and stuff like that.
what do you mean?
Impossible mode.
Yeah, she's just like super like pixelated pointy, like every corner of her. Her shoulders, her head, everything. I know where you're going, you son of a gun.
I just can't remember that series too. There's a lot of debate about butt in our Discord during this stream. I found there was like 6 different messages about butt from different people, so I just had to clarify.
I thought funny. Someone was like, "Man, why would they show her butt?" And then like posted a picture of her butt. I'm like, You became the thing which you sought to destroy.
That's
like,
yeah. Which I understand his point, because it's definitely like, not to get too political, but this really felt like they're like, we don't want any red-eyed woke thumbnails for this game. Like it felt, because honestly, like Taylor said, she used to be very poignant. It's funny you say like you want to play Uncharted, but if you track it, it's almost like Indiana Jones came out, and that was the inspiration for Tomb Raider. And I feel like Tomb Raider was kind of an inspiration for Uncharted, right? And then our Uncharted was almost the inspiration for the Indiana Jones game. So it's like there's this weird circle of these kind of action adventure explorer games. But the new trilogy, which I only played the first one because I can't remember. I think with that second one, they did something where like the game was limited on Xbox for like a year or something, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So and that got me out of it, because at that point I didn't have the Xbox One. So I loved that. I loved that remake so much that I bought it on PS4 and then even paid the whatever for the PS5, like to get it rebuff, because I'm with Superbad Mike. I think he's played the whole trilogy, but I thought that was a great story, barring a few little beats, but I thought it was a great story. And even when they did that new movie, that was based off the new games, right? It was like, oh, we're going to try and tackle this a little bit. This definitely looks like, and that's the tough thing, because that look of Lara Croft is very iconic, but parts of this did kind of feel like a little bit of a regression. Like, remember that emotional story we put Lara Croft on? Well, now all our assets are out, and you're just killing stuff, and you're fighting dinosaurs. Like, it looked like there was no more emotional core or beats whatsoever. I could be wrong when we get this game, and it's tough because it is the classic aesthetic, so we'll see. It's just, it's that video game and even movie cheesy thing where it's like she's sliding into a bunch of snow and into this cave, and she's in skimpy shorts and the tightest tank top you can find. She probably has frostbite to the nth degree, but it doesn't matter because she's looking hot, right? So I don't know. It looked like they're trying to do the best of both worlds. We're like, oh, it's a bit more serious, but you know, you really think Lara Croft is hot, eh? Like, I don't know. So I'm far behind in the series. Even before I played this one, I would like to play those 2 that I missed out upon because of the Xbox stuff. So, and I think it's honestly pretty bold. I know that first one's a remake, but to put them out back to back, I just don't know if the audience is there, but I don't also know how those last games sold. So maybe they justify it. I just feel like that's asking a lot of people, especially right now when we talk about 2026. That's a big ask to play an older game that's a remake versus a bunch of new games that are coming out. So I think I will play these games one day, but same thing. I'll wait and see review wise, because if they are pretty poor, then maybe I will
Yeah.
cross this off the list.
And I swear it was just like last year, maybe even earlier this year, where they had like a kind of HD remaster of some of those old games too, and I think giving them
Yeah.
more like modern controls. Like maybe that was like a Switch port thing. So it just felt like I feel like they had kind of modernized some of that stuff already. But I guess this is through Amazon right now, and Amazon has
Right.
endless pockets, right? So I guess that's maybe why we're getting two of these things. So
And they're making
again,
a
maybe
show
it is that.
too. Don't forget.
What'd you say?
They're making a show. Don't forget as well
Yes.
too. So that kind of some synergy going
And
on.
and it might be what you were saying earlier, Travis, of the classic remake, get people interested in the series again, then boom, hit them with the new one, which is a 1-2 punch we've seen a lot of.
Yeah.
Although oftentimes it seems like we get the remake, they see how it does, and then they go ahead with the full game. Whereas this case, obviously, they're already making both like in unison. So we'll see
Yeah.
what happens here, because you have to imagine that it's like different developers making this as well. So it's probably going to feel a little bit different between the two of them. Maybe it's like the same engine. Who knows? I don't know how I feel about the tone switch of it. I mean, I do like that this is bright and colorful. Looked fun to me. When I watched the trailer, I didn't really feel like it was like overly sexualizing her. Maybe I'm seeing a different trailer than other people, or I was not watching as well, or
You see that
something.
butt though? That butt.
I guess, but it's not like comparing it to like First Descendant or like Stellar Blade, like some of these other games we've seen recently, and maybe the bar is just like on the floor, you know, maybe it's one of those kind of things. But to me, it wasn't just like, yeah, check out our jiggle physics that we can do with
Yeah.
like our Unreal Engine 5 and whatnot. And yeah, like I liked the tone of that newest trilogy, but at the same time, like I haven't finished that trilogy yet, so it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, they should have stuck with that, because like I haven't even played all those games that are currently available to me. So maybe this is a good direction to go with something kind of fresh and new, even if fresh and new is kind of just going back to the well that they started from. But I think because it is a much different landscape than it was back when those games came out, and even just like the polygons and the art style and the level design and limitations of controls, I just feel like we're in a whole different realm these days. So maybe this will be a nice pairing of kind of that old style mixed with like the new stuff. So we'll see. And you know, there is still that trilogy of games that you can always go back to. So yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I liked seeing a dino thing that you're fighting. That looked pretty cool. So I'm potentially interested in this, but like I said, I'm already kind of behind on my Tomb Raider stuff, so probably not a day one by any means. Next up is, well, actually, Taylor, I had a question for you. Have you ever played any of the Forest 1 or 2? Because I feel like that seems like an extremely Taylor kind of game.
No, I haven't.
You should check out the 4. I feel like you can probably get the Forest 1 on Steam for like 38 cents these days or something crazy. But what do you think of this? I don't know did you catch the Forest 3 trailer? I don't think I put it in the list of things to watch, but
I didn't catch it, but yeah, like it's one that I've been curious about, because I feel like that Minecraft effect, but for adults, I'd say, right? Like nighttime rolls around, then all like the crazy shit starts
I agree.
happening, and,
Yeah,
and
it
stuff.
has that same vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that is on the list. And was this something that people knew about, that there was a third one coming, or is this just like a new release, world premiere?
I didn't remember it, but I also feel like for some reason the Forest was talked about in the last couple of years, so maybe it was this, and maybe I just kind of forgot about it. I'm not sure, but it definitely made an impression here. Like the beasts that you're seeing in here, are really freaky designs. Like
yeah.
one of them looked like something out of It Welcome to Derry. One of them was like a creepy girl who was like kind of just cut in half and like walking around in like a really freaky way. But yeah, I feel like the Forest is kind of a niche little weird horror Steam thing, but also is like somehow huge. Like it just has a huge fan base for it. So I feel like this game has a lot of potential, and it seems like it's got a budget. Like it looked really, really good. Like the visuals were insane, and the fog and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, Forest 3.
Yeah. No, it looked really cool. I didn't know what it was. Felt like the crowd was a little disappointed, because I think they thought it was going to be something else, and you heard some like, oh, like not disappointed, like, oh, okay, Forest 3. But yeah, there's some wild looking stuff. The little squid thing, and it was dispersing stuff out. I don't know. It was I've never heard of this series in my life, so it was interesting to kind of get that on the radar now. So
yeah. Another kind of low-key favorite for me in the show was a game called Orbitals, which was this very cute little like Japanese like Ghibli style thing. It had like that kind of intentionally like low frame rate, which makes it seem like stop motion or something. Sci-fi setting, co-op situation. Just looks very cute and wholesome, and like I don't know, just had a very unique vibe. I don't think I've ever seen a game that looks like this, which is hard to do these days to come up with like a kind of a new art style. And so I thought this one looked really nice. So that was cute. We got a Marvel Rivals trailer thing. I guess Deadpool's a new character going to get added soon, as well as also Bloodstone is kind of what
That's
they're
hype.
showing
I'm surprised
off.
it took this long to get Deadpool in there because we always make that joke. Any
too.
multi-person game.
That's why I thought it was something
different.
different. I just assumed Rivals already had Deadpool. But yeah, he's coming as well. No, this made me realize that no Marvel token, no new character drop or anything. I thought that was happening right after the beta. I thought we were maybe primed to finally get some new characters shown, but no, we still have just the 8 that they originally announced with. So who knows when we'll see that game again?
Yeah, head scratching me. We talked about last time I was on Sidequest. Oh, that's the fact that, just weird.
Yeah, just weird.
Yeah.
007 First Light is featuring Lenny Kravitz. He is a
yeah.
character in the game. Travis, you seem pretty hyped about this.
Yeah, it's what me and Kirkland just on our last Weekly Geek were talking about Lenny Kravitz because we started talking about, I think it was in what we've been watching section, and then we're talking about like, oh, he should act more because of Hunger Games and
He
everything
keeps
like
coming
that.
up.
Yeah, we love
Geekverse,
Lenny over here, and I'm just happy because it's not. It's a half right prediction for Travis because remember Dylan in that first look at First Light they were looking for a villain and they didn't reveal the villain's face. Now, granted, I don't think that's this villain because that villain was like a XOO, right? Like it was someone that used to work for MI8. But I said like, oh, I bet they're not showing us that villain because it's going to be an actor. I could be wrong now because this is Lenny, but I feel more confident now because if Lenny's just playing some kind of, and man, he gave this wild explanation of who his character was, about like some drug lore and whatnot. But I think that's a fun thing. I think Lenny Kravitz is like has just a bunch of aura. I think he's a fun villain. I think he is actually a bit of an underrated actor. So, but this gets me more convinced that I think whoever that 00 is going to be somewhat of an actor or name. And if not, then they should just make it Lenny. But yeah, again, I'm just happy this thing consistently gets updated. Like, I feel like it's, knock on wood here, I just feel like it's so rarely in these big IP games where get a trailer, date announced, stuff comes out, and it hits that date. I'm just waiting any day for us to wake up to a green wall of or a gold wall of text and like, we know you want to be James Bond, but you're gonna have to be a little longer. And like, I hope not, because I just feel like the way they're pushing this game is, it feels like it's coming out on that date, and I'm very excited for it. So, Lenny, hell yeah, that was fun, you know. So, see, we should have done the draft. We could Lenny, Stellan Skarsgård, tons of people at these things, you know. Next year.
I had it booked a couple dates and then things.
That was
had to
Taron
shift.
Kirkland. Yeah, that was Taron Kirkland.
I
but
blame
next
everyone
year.
else, even though I had a whole year to make that casting. Taylor, I don't know if I've really heard your temperature check. Where are you at with 007 First Light?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten no real experience with previous 007 games aside from GoldenEye. That's the only one. But this one, I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but it's one that I want to try at least. It's hopefully one of you guys invites me
You have to
over and
buy
I
it
can
to try it.
dabble.
That's the
Oh yeah,
unfortunate
you can't
thing.
ever try my.
Ooh, okay, well when you guys get Art Graders, I'll buy it.
Can't I learned they use AI in that game, Taylor? I can never buy that game.
For what?
The voice is Fanboy Clay. If he's still in the chat, he's the one that broke the news.
Then
to
someone
me.
disputed that in the Discord, so I don't know. Maybe we should look into that before we do.
Yeah, get a fact check.
If it is
Best-
confirmed that
Best
AI is
multiplayer game of the
used-
year. Best multiplayer game of the year.
It is. Yeah, you got that.
Do you think we'll ever have best AI game of the year at the Game Awards?
Yes. Unfortunately, yes. As Disney just signed $1 billion deal today to make AI content, yes, in 5 years, Jeff will be like, I know we love creating games, but what about the games that create themselves? And here are the nominees. Like,
What about the games built on all the games you already love?
Yeah, exactly. I can hear his voice ringing in my head.
This
already
next
telling me
developer made a game using the prompt, make a game like Baldur's Gate 3, but with more nudity.
that. Yeah. Okay, Family Guy says the dispute was that it was only used for text-to-speech to AI. Text.
Well, that's not even that bad. I mean,
Used for
heck.
text to speech. What does that mean? What am I?
That's
missing?
when when you talk to your phone and it translates it into words. It's text.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad because I feel technically we've been using AI for like 10 years, and if that counts as AI, right? Like, it's tough because
Yeah, if you use Siri to help you get directions when you're driving, you're a AI sicko, and you should be
like I'm not
destroyed.
bread and butter one day. Not completely against AI and some things it can do, but I think in the art form of certain things, that's where it's like I want to be particular. So it's like if it was something where it's like, oh yeah, all these voices aren't voice actors, just AI. It's like, yeah, I get no interest in buying that game, right? So okay, Taylor, Maybe once I finish the Resident Evil franchise, I'll come back to Arc Raiders.
Franchise. You're gonna go.
I got 7, or I got 8, 2, and 3, and now 9. So that's a lot to go. So
And 4. Okay. Next up there was a game called No Law, which I joked about in the Discord that I just don't think this is a real game. I don't know how to describe what I mean by that. I just feel like this is either some AI thing. Game's not going to come out. It's not going to be. I think mostly what I mean is I don't think the trailer that we got, I don't think is indicative of what the game actually looked like, which is always the case to some extent with trailers. Obviously, they're fudging the details and it's never quite the same experience. But something about this one just smelled funny to me. So that's my thought on that one. But then Taylor Field, Hitman, Mila Jovovich is the next celebrity ET. Are you going to be finally playing Hitman? Because this is a limited time thing. So you would have to jump in. You do have to play it.
and buy it.
Oh, yeah, and buy it. Yeah. Ever since you guys were doing on the charity stream that like ages ago, 2 years, it was definitely, it caught me by surprise because that was my first experience seeing Hitman and seeing just how open, not open world, but how open concept, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It was just really up to, your imagination, how you want to tackle this. And I like that. I like that you can really just put on a disguise and go do all this random shit just to kind of get to your targets. That was really awesome. So now with Mila thrown in here, I mean, that definitely has some weight to it. I mean, I never bought the Nicolas Cage pack with Dead by Daylight, so I it's juicy and it's got pull to it, but I'm not sure if I'm necessarily right there. Like, how does it work with multiplayer? Like, can I do assassinations like with you guys in one map, or how does it
No,
work?
but they did announce a co-op mode, but it's not in the game yet. They're developing it though.
Mm-hmm.
That would be 2-player co-op. So
And
just
how
you taking out Mila, maybe. I don't know. She might not be
taking
the
out
villain.
Mila?
Because that, like, we've had a couple one, like Bruce Lee was a recent one, but you don't actually kill Bruce Lee. He's just like helping you kill another guy.
I'd hate to have to execute Mila. The girl's just fantastic.
I don't know. Yeah, the last one as well. The last two actually, the celebrity is not the target. So I don't know. Maybe they'll keep the streak going, and Mila will just assist. I'm not sure.
She also
So it's-
presented the award for multiplayer, so just a double for you.
She did. Oh, she's playing Arc Raiders. I can tell you that.
Big fan of Arc Raiders, no doubt. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll play all of these. They're fun. I just played the M&M one. It was really goofy and fun. And I mean, yeah, they're free. There is like you can pay extra to get like some extra skins and stuff, but I just played the free rotation when it comes out. It's on Dartmoor, which is a great map that has a lot of potential for revamping, which they've been doing a good job of. So yeah, I am definitely jumping in for this. I feel like Travis, you have this game obviously, but you don't really seem to jump in for these celebrity ETs. You're not interested in them.
Well, no, remember I don't, because remember I don't.
Oh
think
yeah, your edition or whatever is not the correct one, something like that.
Yeah, so that's why I was out, because remember I was jumping for the Mads one, and you're walking me through. You're like, there was a whole Discord chain of, well, check this setting, and then I see a screenshot. I was like,
Forgot.
so no, maybe one day. That I need to get back into Hitman at some point. But I like that they keep doing it, and I like that the game keeps getting supported. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think the announcement was like when Hitman 3 came out, they recouped the cost of development in like one day. So they've just been playing with house money
Jeez.
since then. They're good to go.
That's
So they're
great.
putting the money into celebrity
awesome.
ETs to keep the beast fed. This is kind of what's going on over there. So as a big fan of the game, it's all good for me. So that's coming up. That's soon. That's like in the next couple months or something like that. So they have a nice streak going. We're almost near the end of it here. Total War Warhammer 40K. David Harbour was up on stage. He was popping off about this. I don't know if you guys are interested in this.
Oh, it's a Kirkland thing.
Because some
I
people were
was when I
saying
heard the
like, oh, is
rumors
this
with
Star
Star Wars.
Wars?
There was
is this a Star Wars
rumors,
RTS?
yeah.
So that's why I thought, Taylor, maybe you were interested. But
Not unless
you know-
it's labeled as a Star Wars RTS.
what if someone makes a mod that reskins it to Star Wars? Because I think that's what people have done with Lord of the Rings in Warhammer.
Oh, God.
I mean, that's enticing. I like it, but I'd love just an official one.
I'll do it once I get my Steam machine, and if you can point me to those reskins, I'll be there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Travis getting into mods. Can't wait.
I can't wait.
There was a very cute game called Out of Words, which they showed off as like almost stop motion or claymation type thing, where they like, actually built these little cardboard characters, whatever, and like filming them and stuff. So I don't know what that gameplay will be like. We saw like kind of some stealthy sequences, but it seems like a little more story based. Really cute. I thought that was a adorable little game. Out of Words. A huge hype moment for Jeff Keighley was the grand reintroduction of Mega Man with Mega Man Dual Override, which is coming out.
Yeah.
I just wrote the number 27, so I guess that means 2027 and not a date of a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
my
27.
notes.
No, I think at one point I did see somewhere online where it was 2027. So
Yeah. So this is like just a regular 2D Mega Man game, which I guess it's probably been a while since they've had a new one, but they've had so many remakes and remaster collections and all sorts of things. So to me, it seems like Mega Man hasn't really been anywhere. But hey, for the super hardcore fans, to have a new 2D game is pretty exciting. But I don't know what else I have to say about that one. If you're in a
I
Mega
think
Man,
for
you're in
me,
Mega Man.
I think just the two of these, because obviously I'm not sure. Do you have the last game, whatever it was called, Midgard or Highgard or
High Guard, yeah. I got it.
Highgard? I think this is the case where Jeff does sometimes talk things too much. Where with this, I do get it. Mega Man has a place in gaming history. I think it's just like you said. Even the way he somehow made it sound like it was something that had been gone for quite a while, and I get that a proper sequel hasn't happened in a while, but I feel like there's always a new Mega Man game every year that's obviously a remake, redone, whatever. But I just hope. My hope is that this will retroactively age better, where he talked it up, and when people get in their hands, it's like, oh wow, this is something really special, right? But it's hard for us to know that with Capcom and Sega and what they do. Like, it's just, it kind of fell with a thug. I think this is like a perfect like mid-show announcement, maybe not the second to last one, and then the last one early in the show, he's like, oh, we have a world premiere that our last one's like, you're not even gonna. You have no idea what it is. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, we have no idea what it is because, like, we don't know this game exists. It's not an old franchise. So I think because this was in that stretch of Miss Piggy sung, Mega Man happened, and then this, I think there was some questionable. I think that's always the thing with these shows. It's sometimes not what's in them. It's just the order of what's in there, right? So, yeah, I would not have put those two last. But yeah, it looked fun enough. I played enough Mega Man back in the day when I had a Sega. I think. I don't know. I would have to be timing and word of mouth to see if I would get this. But yeah, I thought it was a weird way to reintroduce it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Taylor, you ever played Mega Man?
Ooh, I remember getting a Mega Man game on Game Boy. I traded my friend one of my Game Boy games, and he traded me Mega Man, but he didn't like his trade, so he asked for a trade back, so I traded the Mega Man game back to him. But I enjoyed what I played. It was a lot of fun.
Would you give him like the fucking Hey Arnold game on Game Boy or something?
No, I think I gave him. I think it was a game that wasn't saving. Didn't have his battery was dead in the game. So
you gave him a faulty product.
Yeah.
Nice. That's not a good trade for that guy.
You're grade 4 and grade 5. You got to play it's a dangerous market. You got to play to your advantage.
You did trade back though, so that was
I did trade back. But it was a lot of fun. And so since then, my only experience with Mega Man is in Smash Brothers. But I don't know. I wouldn't mind kind of getting my toes back in there. I thought that there were some packs or bundles of Mega Man games that were on like Games Pass, but I could be wrong.
Oh, I don't know about Game Pass, but yeah, they've been spamming a bunch of new collections recently for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then the last game was one called High Guard, which, it was definitely giving me a certain vibe. And then S-Bubs posted a good little meme in the Discord there of just like, this game pretty much just looks like Concord, even in some of the character designs specifically, but obviously in like the just general gameplay as well. So, who knows what's going to happen with this game, but Concord was such a disaster that they pulled it off the shelves in like a week and gave everyone refunds. So obviously if your game looks like that, not a good sign. I mean, a game like Overwatch 2, which obviously that kind of at first tanked compared to the first game, but I think it is quite popular again. So people still are interested in that genre, but I just feel like they're so set in the one that they like already. You have the Riot one out there. You have other things like Counter-Strike is still popping off. So I just don't know if there's enough space for this kind of thing. So, and honestly, I thought some of the marketing beats around this, obviously they're always like a game you've never seen before, gameplay you've never seen. And it just felt like that was not what I was seeing. What I was seeing was a
No.
game I've seen many times and recently, and maybe even done better. So I don't know. There were a couple cool little moments in here, but just I just don't. It's hard for me to get invested in a game like this because it could just die and then to go away, and then
Yep.
what was it all for? You know. So I don't know. Maybe
That's
that's a doomer take on my end, but I just
No, I
wouldn't
I
feel
don't
much for
think
this
you're
one.
wrong. I just feel like cut to 2 years from now, we're like, oh, what's that game that they revealed at the end of Game Awards and didn't go anywhere? It's like it doesn't matter that at the end of this they drop like free to play, blah blah. It's like the free to play is not like sure you get people in the door, but at the same point it's just like, okay, what are you selling to get people, like you said, Dylan, away from those communities that they're already in, right? Especially communities that they've put so much time in that they likely have friends in there as well or groups that they play with. You have to convince everybody, so it's just I don't know. And that's the thing where it's like, okay, I'm not saying you can't do that because we've seen games catch on, but then to me, you have to stand out. To me, this is like Concord when the first time I went, oh, like, that's what this is? Okay. And same thing like this. This didn't look special. This didn't look like, oh, I can see the change up. I can see the gimmick of why people might give this a shot at least, right? This just kind of, when we're talking about AI or Chat GPT, this looks like an amalgamation. It looks like, make me a game that's like a little bit like this, a little bit like this, and not in the way that Crimson Desert is, where Crimson Desert just looks fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
This has the
Where was that
reverse
game
where it's
tonight?
like, it looks like generic version of that. Like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it was an odd one. As I said in the Discord, either someone on this team is friends with Jeff, or he got a big bag to put this as the final world premiere because it was like sorry, even the just cinematic Knights of the Old Republic one has more juice than that for the reception, right? So at that point, I honestly would have put that there because it's not because it's Star Wars, it's because of said title being Star Wars. And I bet too, after we got that Star Wars racer game, no one would have thought we're getting anything KOTOR. We would have thought, it's like Resident Evil. Remember when he did that, Dylan, where they showed off the old one and a sale? Like, I guess that's not happening. They're like, oh, it was a fake out. I don't think it was done the greatest, but here you could have done that. So yeah, this game I will never play it.
Fair enough. Taylor, I'm going to assume you will never play it either. No, not even worth his words.
No, I'm never gonna play. Never gonna play.
Boys, did I skip any game that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we have them
Ace Combat. I never played them, but
Oh,
damn, it looks
sorry.
good. Oh,
all. Ace 8 you're at now.
Ace 8. Yeah.
They're getting them out. They're getting them out the freaking door. Off the runway, that's for sure. Okay, so obviously the show ends with the Game of the Year Orchestra, which is always fun to get the big music tracks. I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was funny that, Jeff is a guy who is extremely online, right? He knows how everyone feels about these shows.
Yeah.
He sees all the feedback. Sometimes he takes it and changes things. Sometimes he just continues with the way he's doing things because obviously he's making fucking bags and bags of money. So he knows what he's doing. But in terms of the way that the flute guy meme has kind of erupted over the last couple of years of just one guy in the orchestra playing a flute and he's just extremely animated. And I feel like last year he got like more of a highlight, made sure he was on camera. And this year just felt like a fucking insane evolution where they cut back to this guy
Yes.
at least 8 different times. And at least 6 or 7 of those times he was playing a different instrument. One of them looked like a fucking necklace. I don't even know what that was. One of them was just like PVC like plumbing or something, which is an instrument I've never seen before. And then some of them were like different flutes and things like that. But that to me that was just like peak Jeff Keighley. Knows how to get his clicks. He sometimes knows what people want, and I guess maybe there are people who want to miss Piggy 3 times, and so sometimes he misses the mark. But I feel like with Flute Guy, he knows that people want this. But
Yeah.
to me, it was like I was laughing at how absurd it was because it just felt like a jump the shark moment, which is such a weird thing to jump the shark for. Is like one guy in an orchestra playing weird instruments.
I get what you mean, though. It's kind of like, it's almost like, not that it was a joke, but it's almost like when someone that doesn't get the joke starts to make the joke, and you're like, like, you don't have that, like, you can't make that joke, right? And that's where it felt like Flute Guy and the band. It just felt like, we'll go to him. It feels like this guy's like Rocky. He spends all year training for the video game awards. So
Yeah.
I agree with you where I didn't find jumping the shark because I'm actually finding they just bring him back all the time. But it did feel like a meme within a meme, like a weird Matrix thing where it's like, okay, we're seeing Flute Guy a lot. It's like, change the song, go to him. Change the song, go to him. But he was going hard, so good for him. I hope it helps his like rate, getting work and everything, So
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, that was all of the announcements. Yeah, I think overall, like, good new trailers for things like Resident Evil, 007, Saros, which we didn't talk about, but, just some good reminders, like Lego Batman got a date and things like that. Bunch of new things, like 2 Tomb Raiders, Control, 2 new Star Wars games, Surprise, and, like, Bradley the Badger, Divinity, and then, like, some smaller things like Ontos, Order of the Sinking Star, Control, I don't think I mentioned. Like, tons of great games in here. Some old stuff, some new stuff, good surprises. Overall, yeah, pretty crazy announcements overall. Travis, you sound like you have a number prepared to give this showcase. So what's your number?
I do. Before I give mine, I just want to know, because I always shout this out. I usually do it at the beginning. Every time Game Awards or Summer Games Fest, Jeff puts out his poll on X, Twitter, to see what it was. So there's been almost 150,000 votes. It's A, B, C, or D, or N below. What do you think is winning? Because obviously today you didn't see the show. So Dylan, what do you think would be the high pick on this? What's winning?
Internet
percentage?
are haters.
Yep.
So I feel like it's not going to be B. I feel like it's going to be like either A or C. I'll say people were maybe happy today, and maybe this is biased from my perspective. I'll say A.
A is actually the lowest with 19%. And
That's
the
crazy.
highest is 33% at D or below, which to me is crazy. And this is why
That's just like trolling. That's not even real. Like, that's
But
crazy.
See, I don't know. Probably some of it is, but I've seen it where the A is the winner and stuff like that, right? Like, and that's where for me, that's why I open up with, and my number here, I am a bit biased because there's a lot of Travis things. That's where I've said before that Street Fighter thing was fun for me because it's people I know, talent I like. We're memeing about it in the Discord with S-Bubs and Clay and other people that watch wrestling. Like, it was a great time. But I guarantee you, if you don't like that, you're like, this is too long, this is lame. So I'm gonna say, for like enjoyment, it actually was like a 5. But I would not give this my official rating. I would give this a 4.5 for that last half an hour and 45 minutes. I think that stumbled a bit. I think, yes, you could chop Miss Piggy, you could really chop Street Fighter, but at the same time, like, Jeff wants, like, you see Jason Momoa there, like, that helps, like, get traction, right? So that's why, to me, it's not, it looks like they're having fun enough. For me, it was just that stumbling at the end, because it's exactly what you said. I feel like we got tons of announcements. We've been here on Game Awards or Summer Games Fest where it's like, there's been a few, but lots of them are very minor or things we kind of already knew about. Or it's been, oh, you got an update in this in 2 years, but it's a game no one really cares about. There was tons of new stuff here, tons of trailers. I thought the pacing was the best it's been in quite a while. Like I said, I think the awards still this year felt a little lesser. It just felt like we moved on. But even then, the showcase, again, the stage was really great. The performances were great. So that's where I am. I'm at a 4.5, almost a 5. I just think that last half an hour, move some things around, some pacing. Even me as a Miss Piggy fan, maybe you don't need to do that again. And yeah, that's where I am. But to me, this was it's probably the best Game Awards since we did that one back in my place when we were all there together doing our last reaction Kelowna, and they did Marvel Alliance 3. I feel like, because I remember that year.
That was a big moment.
Yeah,
for
not
sure.
only that, I feel like there's a lot of bangers. And wasn't that the night? Was that Smash was out or something? I remember you guys went somewhere after to buy a game, to get in line at EB Games. There was something else, but it was just
Smash
like
came out like a couple weeks after, I think.
Did it? Okay, so there was something else. But yeah, so this is definitely to me a top tier one. Don't know what people are talking about, but again, I have some biases in there. So 4.5.
Taylor, since you didn't watch the whole thing, I don't know if you want to. Do you want to give it a number? You can if you want. It's up to
You know what? I'm gonna just go with a 4.5. I like everything Travis put down, and
Copycat.
why can't argue with that.
You're excited to see Roman Reigns.
I won't argue with it in a big way, but I'll go 4. I think, maybe if it had a couple more Dylan personal ones, perhaps. I think it's a great show, and I think 4.5 is totally fair. I just don't want to give it something weird like a 4.25. I don't know why. It just feels wrong to me. So I'm just going to go with a 4. I think it was a really good show. Nice job, Jeff and team. Fun time all around. Congratulations to Expedition 33. It won a fuck ton of awards, and it deserved all
Broke
of
the record.
Yeah, and it deserved all of those awards that it won. And they even said, hey, out today, some more DLC for this game, which is
It's cool.
maybe not like a huge expansion thing, but just like, hey, here's some new bosses, new weapons. So that's cool, too. There's a nice little early Christmas present for everyone who voted for that game. So, yeah, overall, really fun, good showcase. Bunch of things going on the wish list, which is always a good sign. Because as we're going through these, usually, I'm crossing things out of my notes, as we talk about them. But this, I have my whole list still there pretty much because I got to go add them on my wish list, on my things to keep track of list, and there's like a huge list of those things. That's always very exciting. So thank you everyone in the Discord for watching along and chatting through with everything and reacting. Thank you guys for joining me here. Thank you everyone for listening, and yeah, we'll be back next week for more SideQuest. Bye-bye.